Hey yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Moviegoers live show. It has been a little while. I still want to try to keep pumping out this show a little bit more often, but again, time gets away from me. And this is episode 25, and it's good to be back on the show. And tonight's guest is another returning guest of the live show, a good friend of mine here of the channel. And I'm very happy to have him back on because we haven't had him on here in a little while. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Sully Streams.
What is
What's up,
going
Sully?
on? How we doing?
Doing good. It's great to have you back, man. And I'm really happy that you're here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. 25th episode. That's a big one. So
there you go. Yeah, watch when we get to like episode 50, but that's gonna be a while for sure.
I don't know. I feel like you were like you said, you took a little break from doing it, but I feel like for a while there you were cruising through these episodes. So
Yeah, but because of now that I have a new job and getting so tired, like damn tired after work, it's like it's been
it'll
killing
slow
me.
down the process a bit.
And just do regular Q&As just to pass the time a little bit. But you know
Yeah.
what? We'll get back into the swing. It's just again, I need to try to get the schedules all figured out, everything. It's business. That's all I
It's a
can
lot
say.
to manage. It's a lot to manage for sure.
Well, especially since we got like a boatload of movies coming out like within the next few weeks.
Which I'm pumped about.
We got Thanksgiving coming out this weekend, which I'm seeing on Friday.
Yeah, I might I'm still figuring it out, still figuring out the details, but I might be able to go see that one tomorrow night, which should be interesting.
And then we got the Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which looks great.
Yeah, I liked the Hunger Games movies, never read the books. I didn't love the trailer for this one, but I was shocked when a bunch of people were coming out of the woodwork and said this one rocked, apparently. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm seeing that on Saturday. So
I'm not sure when I'm going to see the Hunger Games, but I know for sure I will try to see it this weekend because
they're actually sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but they're actually opening up a Alamo Draft House near me, and I've never been to one before. So that's where I'm seeing it on Saturday, and I'm pumped. I've heard great stuff about that theater. So
yeah, that's because I know back in September at one point, because my buddy Grant, if you know him from a good friend of the channel, got to go to the Alamo Draft House to see one of my personal favorite films of the year, which I'm still pissed that I could not get a local theater to have that movie play near me so I could see it in theater. Bottoms.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, he got to see Bottoms before he knew he was seeing the new Neil Breen film, Cave the Tortured Crossing.
Yeah, what did he have? Is that the one where he had like his name was like a million times in the credits or something? Like everyone was laughing about it. It was like everything was Neil Breen or something. It's really funny. I didn't see Bottoms yet, but I heard good stuff.
Have you seen Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
Yes, I go back and forth on Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I think it was because someone called it like this generation's Scream, and I hold Scream to a very high regard. So I don't know if I liked that comparison, but I like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
So basically, take this kind of example. Like you have Heathers, Greener Grass, Fight Club, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Get all those together, you get Bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I
like both leads.
What?
I like both leads, so.
There you go. The reason why I bring up Fight Club is because the concept is these two girls decide to start a self-defense club in their school.
Yeah.
But also the reason why I bring up Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is because it does have the same kind of dark humor kind of tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, because a lot of the characters in the film are Gen Z people.
Yeah.
So
fits the mold.
But because of the high school setting and kind of what the film is kind of playing at, Heathers is like the biggest like influence that the film went through. Because mean that third act, like especially towards the end, oh, does it get bloody?
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Because they're
love
literally fighting off a bunch of football players.
I didn't know that. No, that's interesting for sure. And I
Yeah,
love
you
Heather's.
seriously have like Gen Z girls that were part of that fight club fighting off like the opposing football players, which are not which are obviously not their school's football
Right.
players. And which, by the way, the guy that played Jeff, who was also in Red, White, and Royal Blue, which, by the way, guys, go watch Red, White, and Royal Blue. It's fantastic. It's such a different it's such a different role compared to that movie with
Mhm.
that kid. Like, damn, like,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's not a spoiler because it's given in the trailer. Like, there's literally a scene like when his girlfriend at one point, his girlfriend at one point, I guess you could say, goes up to him and is like, "Are you cheating on me?" And he's like, "No." And then the other girl's like, um, "I saw you yesterday." And then his response is like, "You cannot say that in comedies nowadays. Like
Mhm.
you can't say it. It's so funny." He's like, "Shut up, nerd! I fucked your mom." You cannot you cannot say that nowadays in comedies.
Yeah.
But it's like but it's also kind of funny that a major studio like Orion Pictures put that movie out. Like,
Yeah.
because it's like, I mean, is it just me or is comedy becoming good again? Like,
Yeah, I'd say that there's some examples this year that are making me start to think that a little bit because I think if there's been a genre that's been in the gutter over the past 5 or 10 years, it's been comedy. People are like way
yeah.
too afraid of offending everybody. It all comes off as very sanitized. So it's good to see that there are a couple out there this year that are kind of trying to break out of that a bit.
I mean, Bottoms definitely did that. I mean, Emma Seligman was definitely aware of where she was going, like with that material. But I think we already know. Like, my personal favorite comedy of the year is Joyride. Like, if we're talking
Hmm.
about like flat out comedy, it's Joyride.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about like comedy mixed with drama, it's Dumb Money. Like,
Yep, that's good. And no hard feelings kind of push the envelope a little bit too, back in the right direction. Yeah, no, I like Dumb Money. I was a total. I'm telling you, I was following the like GameStop and AMC stock thing every day back when that was happening. So I have a personal connection to the
and plus,
story.
I wasn't really following that story though because I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't really have any because I am like the biggest noob when it comes to talking about stocks.
yeah.
Like, I'm a fucking noob, literally. Like, so it's like if you're gonna look for someone to talk about stocks, but don't talk to me.
But still, I mean, that also says though that like that's the power of the overall story, right? That like that's centered around that backbone, but you still were a big fan of it. So
Yeah, and you learn a lot through that film, especially with like not just with stock, but also with basically how slimy, like how slimy some of these billionaires can really be.
yeah,
Like,
how these hedge funds operate. Yeah.
exactly,
It's
because I
kind of
mean,
like the poor man's Big Short, which I really think because Big Short, I mean, the Big Short, they take time out of the runtime to literally like stop and explain terminology and stuff. So it kind of feels like that a little bit, obviously.
but Dumb Money, they don't really slow down. Like they
No,
keep going and going and going. It's like they
yeah,
don't stop for anything.
yeah,
And seriously, if Paul Dano has not gotten an Oscar nomination by this point, give him one now, please.
yeah. He's someone that has been nipping at the heels for that for a long time.
It's
I mean,
basic. He's kind of like Jake Gyllenhaal in a lot of ways, where it's like
yeah,
he's such a great actor, but nope, but the Academy will not notice him.
yeah. I've been saying for years now, I really think Gyllenhaal not getting at least a nomination for Nightcrawler is the biggest Oscar snub ever, in my opinion. But
It's definitely the biggest for me. Another good one would have been for Stronger.
mhm,
But
yeah,
if
he's
his
had
like
some great
next
roles.
Oscar nomination is The Covenant, that's going to be very, very strange. Like, but look, I love The Covenant. The Covenant is
Yeah,
fantastic, but like, but that one being his next Oscar nomination over someone like Nightcrawler, Stronger, or
They
What else?
should have given him. They should have given him one for that, or for Nightcrawler or Prisoners. But
Prisoners. Thank you. I was thinking
yeah,
that's one of the ones I was thinking was
yeah,
Prisoners.
Prisoners is incredible. It's like one of my top 15 favorite movies ever.
Fantastic. I mean, definitely. I think it's my second. Yeah, I think it's my second favorite Villeneuve, Denis Villeneuve movie. Is
What's your
Prisoner.
favorite? I'm gonna guess your favorite is. It's got to be either like I was gonna say Dune or Sicario, but I'm gonna go out of left field and say it's Arrival.
Nope,
Damn, what is it?
it's Dune.
Ah, come on! I should have kept it.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's not. It's definitely not Blade Runner 2049. That's so far from what I've seen out of his filmography. That's actually my least favorite.
So it's funny, right? Because I saw that in a packed theater opening day, and I am also one of those guys that like the original Blade Runner is my Bible. Like I love that movie.
Right.
And I also go ask me on any given day. I mean, I just did that big. I like have been rewatching all the Fincher movies, so I had a chance to rank them after The Killer. But so I really think when I narrow it down, my personal favorite directors is either Fincher or Ridley Scott. I love both of them so much. And so obviously Blade Runner, incredible Ridley Scott film. I think I hold that one so highly up on a pedestal that like even though it seems like everybody universally loves 2049, I just did not like it. Did not like it. So
I mean, I liked it, but the movie is so freaking slow. Like,
it is
it's
slow.
even slower. It's even slower than the first Blade Runner. Like,
Yeah. And the first Blade Runner is designed to be so slow because it's like a detective noir, like, you know, narration, getting to the facts, slow case. There's still some action sprinkled in there, but like it's definitely a slow film. And you're right, 2049 is definitely slower.
yeah, that's kind of why I don't think it's like the big like masterpiece of 2017. No, 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 no.
I'm pulling up the best films of 2017. I'll plant my flag in what is the best.
I mean, I think we already know like one of them that's up there for sure. That's Baby Driver.
Yeah, good movie for sure.
I think my personal favorite of 2017 is Lady Bird.
Oh yeah, that's a good pick.
Absolutely love Lady Bird. Like, oh yeah, but you also want to speak on also personal favorites of the year, The Killer. Like,
yeah,
I
Killer is
love
sitting
The
at,
Killer.
I think that's sitting at my number 4 spot for the year right now.
For me, it's at number 11. Is The Killer. But I mean, don't get me like that just goes to show you how good of a year it's been for film. Like,
It has been a good year. Side note before we keep going on this, I can't believe I didn't know this earlier, but my pick for the masterpiece of 2017 would be Good Time with Robert Pattinson, Safdie brothers.
Good Time. That's a great movie.
But yeah, no, I really enjoy The Killer. I think it took a little to wrap my head around because trailers are always just so misleading. I think it took me a little bit to wrap my head around that it wasn't going to be this action-packed Jason Bourne thriller that the trailer kind of made it seem like it was going to be. It's like way more of a deep character study about this assassin. And but I will say, still has its moments of action. That fight scene in the middle was like one of the best constructed fight scenes I've ever witnessed in my entire life, where he's fighting the guy in Florida.
Dude. Like,
it's unbelievable. Fincher, it just has such erratic camera movements in that it's fantastic. But yeah, no, definitely return to form because I was someone that other than Alien 3, which everyone kind of lists as their least favorite Fincher, my least favorite was Mank. So I was very ready for him to get back to something like this.
and I get that for sure because it's like, I mean, I loved Mank. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna be real, like, but I totally get where you're coming from with that. But it's like, yeah, there's definitely better Fincher films out there. It's, because what do we have? We had like freaking The Social Network.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
Social Network, Fight Club, Gone
Wait, Sully, you broke
Girl.
the first rule.
I know, I shouldn't have said it.
I'm kidding though. Whenever somebody just mentions that name, I have to make that joke.
I literally even made that joke in my ranking video, and I still fell for it. But
Damn.
My favorite, I've said this for so long. My favorite Fincher movie will always be Zodiac. I think that's his masterpiece, but
Yeah.
really crazy good filmography all around.
My personal favorite is the one we can't talk about because otherwise
Yeah.
I'll break the rule.
Right.
But if I
Yeah,
can
no.
talk about it this time, if we're talking about the one I actually can talk about, it's Seven. Like,
Yep. Seven rocks. Seven's like broke the mold on those kind of psychological thrillers.
yeah, what's in the box?
It really like I've been talking about this more and more. I was like, I'm kind of surprised how much casual audiences like celebrate and love that movie because it's such not a mainstream film with how like dark and gross it is. Like it's way more watched than I feel like it should be, which is crazy. I mean, obviously I love it. I'm glad people watch the hell out of it, but it just seems like it's kind of interesting that like the casual moviegoer has seen that movie.
Right, yeah, because that's definitely not a movie for everybody. Like, I'll
No.
just say that it's not for everybody.
There's
I
like
mean,
some
hell,
ass.
I'll even go out and say The Killer is not for everybody. Like,
Mhm. There's some aspects of Seven that like obviously Seven was made before the movie I'm going to mention, but like with that iconic intro with Nine Inch Nails playing and like the camera work's all gross and it's like the killer's hands like doing all these things, preparing for his murders and stuff. It's like veers on the same realm as like Saw at some points, you know, with the
yeah,
imagery and stuff like that. So um again, Saw couldn't be a film that's for less people. Like so many people are not the right audience for Saw. So it's just interesting that Seven is so beloved.
if you want to think about why Saw is not for certain people, that's basically for squeamish people.
That's correct too.
Because especially like when it comes to the newest one, Saw X.
Hmm.
Yeah, not for the squeamish. Like,
So I think, and this is like something's clearly wrong with me, but it's just like I'm so desensitized from seeing all the Saw movies that I honestly felt like that was more of a tame one. Like compared to when Saw was like mid 2000s, I really think there was stuff that like was really rough and bloody. This one still definitely had some serious gore to it, like the trap where the woman was like cutting her leg off and then it cut her head off. Like that one was crazy.
oh yeah, and
Um,
also the when the guy had to literally drill into his own brain.
yeah.
Yikes!
I think this one though was like this one had more implication. I was like, if I was thinking about this gore, I'm like, oh, this is awful. Like, I wouldn't want to do this to myself. The earlier films had more like visceral, like body parts flying everywhere and like people's heads getting crunched and stuff that like it's just like visceral shock value. Um,
Right? Yeah.
but no, I really liked Saw X. I think it would be like my third favorite in the whole franchise. So
Yeah, but the reason why I kind of hold Saw X in a little bit more of a higher regard than some people do is because it's more of a character-driven film. It's not
mhm.
really a Saw movie.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not.
I mean, it is a Saw movie, obviously, because the traps come in, but this is more of a John Kramer character study. Like, so that way we actually can kind of understand why he does what he does to people. Like,
Yeah, and I think like it's definitely not a Saw, like a straightforward Saw movie too, because you think about all the other ones and they like a lot of times they get right into the nitty gritty. Like this one, I honestly feel like you don't get a kill or anything until like 40 minutes in, 45 minutes in. Um,
yeah, and it's like it really does take its time, but it's like it's to the film's advantage because you're trying to get behind John Kramer, so that way you actually understand what he's going through and what he's wanting to try to do, so that way he can still stay alive.
yeah, I think it was a good idea them taking their time like they did because they really do set up a scenario where like when he goes to that area or the hospital and it's all cleaned out and everything and he realizes he's been completely duped, like you're so ready for him to start killing some people. You know, like you're like, holy
No,
shit.
like you're ready for him to you're ready for him to make those people play those games, like
Yeah, 100%.
because he even mentions full out he doesn't actually kill people. Like
Yeah.
the people are just not wanting to survive. Like,
I will say I can get behind the critique. Like it worked for me. Like I said, I liked Saw X. I understand people saying that they didn't like it where they liked Kramer and Jigsaw more specifically just being such an iconic horror villain. I don't know if you consider him a slasher villain because he's not really the one doing it, but kind of toes the line there. But how making us feel bad for him and sympathize for him, even though I thought that was what's good about that movie and you thought that was what's good about that movie, made people not like that movie because they wanted to have like this villain that they could like, was this like evil guy in the movie. And of course, if that's your opinion, then sure, it's not going to work for you. But
then
um, I-
cool, but it's like that's basically the film's advantage is making you sympathize with John
right, right,
because it's like with what the doctors did to him by just basically faking the surgery,
yeah,
that was messed up, dude. Like that was like the
yeah,
worst thing they could have possibly done. And plus the main doctor, or should I say in quotation marks,
right,
doctor,
yeah,
who twist is she's a con artist, um, basically did that just to get John Kramer's money.
hmm
You understand like why he sets up those traps for those people because it's like you can't do that to him.
no, they did it to the wrong guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's even why he says, "This is not retribution. It's a reawakening."
Yeah.
And
I
it's
also think it just worked in the franchise. Like they did it at the right time. Like who knows? Like if this was actually Saw 2, right? Like Saw comes out in 2004 and then this movie comes out directly after. Like if this movie came out in like 2005, who knows if people would like it as much. But I think after seeing like 9 or 10 movies of it being the same thing kind of but just with different traps, this was like the perfect thing to like flip the whole thing on its head. So it
yeah,
worked really
this was
well.
what like the 10th film was like the right time to just basically flip the coin on its head. Like
They could have just did what they always do and just like did another trap filled movie, not really any plot, whatever, just like a gore fest, but they took a good risk with this one.
exactly, which is why I think like I mean I know it's like your number three, but that's why I personally think that's the best one because
Mhm.
it takes its time to get where it's going. It makes us understand with John, but when it gets bloody massacre like traps, it's like
Mhm.
the movie goes there. It like it's not afraid to hold back anything.
Yeah.
Like you'll hear bones crunching, you'll see decapitated heads, like you'll
Yeah,
see
they
it
never
all.
hold back.
That's what makes this Saw franchise so good is that they don't hold back. Well, if you're not
Mhm.
talking about Saw the Final Chapter, which sucks balls.
I don't know if there's part of me that like I know I didn't like it, but it's hard for me to even like distinguish. It just feels like a distant memory.
That movie's just a gigantic commercial for all the Saw traps. That's basically what that movie is.
Yeah. It was just a greatest hit CD.
Exactly, because you had the reverse bear trap in there, finally showing us what it does. But
Yeah.
the way that they use it is just stupid.
Yeah.
It's more intense than the first Saw movie because it's because I mean, despite the fact that she gets out of it, it's like crunch time, like
Mhm.
literally. But let's hit these comments here because we got some comments in here. Ethan's in the chat says, "Did you hear Chris Pratt is voicing Garfield?" I said this once and I'll say it again. He sounds fine. Like I don't hate the voice. Like
Yeah, I think he sounds fine. I mean, like, I wasn't like an insane Garfield fan growing up. I familiar with it a decent bit, and like the character. I'm gonna watch the movie. Voice didn't bother me at all. I mean, I know we barely even kind of got the voice. It was more like 90% of
it
that
was the same
trailer.
complaint that people were having with Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
Like people were complaining that Chris Pratt was voicing Mario, but out of that first teaser, we didn't even get anything out of it. It was just a couple small snippets of basically what he sounds like.
and his Mario voice turned out good. So you know,
So who knows? Maybe his Garfield voice is good too. I mean, from the
yeah,
sound of it, from me, it sounds pretty good actually. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah. It'll
know
be
it's just
serviceable.
Chris Pratt, but it's like, did you expect him to do like the worst possible Bill Murray impression? Like literally.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
View It Drew, MVP. What's going on, man?
What's up, Drew?
Laren McMullen, my boy Laren's in here. What's up, Laren?
Laren.
Jared Runner.
Jared.
My co-host. What's up, dude? Cineview's in here. Says, I recently made a video on the Marvels. It was okay. I will work on my review for the Holdovers. Nice. Dude, I'm jealous because I'm not going to be able to see the Holdovers in theaters.
Holdovers is very good. I saw it last week.
You've just earned yourself 1 week detention.
I mean, anything with Giamatti's
cool
great.
From the trailers, though, because I've seen the trailers.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on, man. I want to see that movie so badly.
When you finally get a chance to see it, I think you'll enjoy it a lot. It's Paul Giamatti's awesome. It's a good emotional Christmas movie. So,
yeah, there you go. Sir, I don't understand. Well, that's glaringly apparent. I can't fail this class. Oh, don't be so sure, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
I think actually Giamatti doesn't have an Oscar, right?
Yeah, I don't think Paul Giamatti doesn't even have an Oscar, which I think is a crime.
I think he's done so many solid roles in his time.
I mean, he's good in anything he touches, even if it's like flat out terrible.
Even if it's Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because he at least blends into character.
He does. He does.
But obviously he couldn't save one of my least favorite films of all time, known as Thunderpants.
What the hell is that? I don't even know if I know that movie. Thunderpants?
Yeah, Thunderpants. Like, if you can probably guess what the running joke is of that movie, then I'll give you a free digital code.
Wait, was Paul Giamatti was in this? An 11-year-old boy's amazing ability to break wind leads him first to fame and then to death row before it helps him to fulfill his ambition of becoming an astronaut. This is wild.
So yeah, what's the running joke there, Sully?
I mean, he just never stops farting, I'm assuming.
Fart counter leads. So give me the fart counter here, please. What's the fart counter? 50 farts within 83 minutes.
They fart 50 times?
The kid does. The main kid in the movie, Patrick.
I mean, I guess if it's a movie about a kid that's his special ability, I guess you have to do it a lot.
But then it's like, dude, we get it. Like, you can't control the fart, but it's like, enough is enough.
Did this kid... Oh, my God. Is the kid Rupert Grint?
No. Rupert Grint plays as the main kid's best friend.
Oh, okay. Who's the main kid? Did he ever become anybody?
No, like, this was, like, his only, like, film. Like, he quit after this one.
Bruce Cook. Let's see.
And his main character, and literally his character's name is Patrick Smash. What I would consider to be the worst character name in movie history.
I would rebuttal by saying it might be, in fact, the best. But Patrick Smash.
Yeah, and Sully, you're not going to believe some of the things I'm about to tell you with that piece of shit. Like, you are not going to believe this.
It has a 3.8 on IMDb. That's, like, very hard to do.
Yeah, but I was going to tell you, some of the things that they do in this movie, like, I get it. It's supposed to be a kid's movie, and I know it's supposed to be a comedy, but nothing in that movie makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, once he's born, like, obviously that's when he starts, farting. And then, not even like 5 minutes later in the film, like, as Bruce is growing up, or no, not Bruce, Patrick is growing up.
His full name, please.
Patrick Smash. As Patrick Smash is growing up, later on, his parents get a divorce. Like, the reason why his dad leaves is because he can't stop farting. That's it.
Makes sense.
But then what does that do? After the dad leaves, that turns his mom to alcoholism.
In a kids movie?
Mm-hmm. They do that.
Right. Okay.
And then when he wants to take and then when Patrick Smash decides to take revenge on one of his bullies, down in like this really small forest, he does like this really big fart that causes the camera to go like, whoa. And guess what happens? He causes a sonic wave in the forest.
And like what? Like all the trees catch on fire or something?
No, like a sonic wave where it's
Or like an explosion.
No, it goes like, woo, like like a huge wind.
Yeah.
That basically looks like a sonic wave. And I'm just like, oh, come on, really? Oh yeah. And also, that's not even the best part. He can fart out a super high note with his ass. Like almost as high as an opera singer.
You know, I feel like it's not your intention, but you're really making me want to watch this.
Just it's not good, dude.
I might have to check this out.
Oh yeah, and you want to know why Rupert Grint becomes Patrick Smash's best friend?
Why?
He has no sense of smell in that movie.
Oh, well, come on. That makes sense. That's like
But
the episode of SpongeBob where they think they're ugly, but their breath just stinks. Like Patrick can't even smell it.
Yeah, but then it's like, but again, dude, think about a lot of the stuff that occurs in that movie. It doesn't make any sense. Even especially when Patrick gets arrested, because of the murder, because apparently of somewhat of a murder he caused to happen by basically making the high bit, basically what I'm talking about, the high note that he does with his ass, caused basically a stage light to fall and kill the world's #1 opera singer in that movie. So he gets arrested, and then literally, seriously, like when he's being interviewed at one point, like on the news, when he said it was an accident like this, and so he's like, I didn't mean to kill Mr. Seagull, and I didn't know it was going to do the hybrid with my ass. You admitted to the crime.
A lot happens in this movie.
Within 83 minutes. Okay, I'm done talking about that.
I gotta watch this thing. I don't care. I gotta watch this thing.
Just don't. You're probably just gonna want to cover your ears after like the 10th fart at least.
Yeah, we'll see.
Jesus Christ. No. It's not that bad. But I get it though. I get it. It's not for everyone, but I mean, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It wasn't one of my favorites of the year, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, for sure. Really enjoyed 2049, but it's not nearly as good as the original. Yeah, true. But I was gonna say, I mean, when it comes to Bodies being Laren's second least favorite movie of last year, is it? Are you sure it's not worse than freaking Jeepers Creepers Reborn?
I've heard that one's very, very bad.
It's terrible. Or basically, my personal least favorite film of this year, The Exorcist Bullshitter.
That's your least favorite of the year now?
But yes, it's The Exorcist Believer.
That's your least favorite of the year now?
I hate that movie.
More than Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I actually started to give that film a little bit more credit.
No, Luke!
Hold on. It's still half a star.
Okay.
But the more I come to think about it, despite the fact that this film takes it so dead ass seriously,
yes,
I kind of appreciated that in all of the wrong ways. Like,
okay, all right.
So it's one of those films where it's like you can laugh at it for all of the wrong reasons.
I still have not come across any movie that has hit the worst of 2023 for me since we last spoke. The last time I was on the show, I told you that my least favorite movie the entire year was the Netflix movie Your Place or Mine, and it is still Your Place or Mine. That might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know if you saw it, but
I did.
I hated it.
Yeah, 1 star.
Absolutely awful.
I mean, like what? After I saw The Exorcist, okay, spoiler warning, but who cares? Who cares at this point? So the very end of the movie, when when Ellen Bernstein is in the hospital, she's
Wait,
blind.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm just kidding.
So basically,
Go
she's
on.
blind because she gets her eyes gouged out at one point. That doesn't make
Yes.
absolute any sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, Victor, is that you? It's a woman's hand. She kneels down and she's like, Mom, it's me, and it's Linda Blair. And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, that pissed me off. I was like,
It's because
oh,
because David Gordon Green does the same thing with every horror franchise he's like allowed to redo, basically. Like his thing, I mean, I hate to see which one they're gonna let him do next. Because look, I'll say this. Halloween 2018 is really good. I really like that. And I don't like Halloween Kills, but I am one of the few defenders that likes Halloween Ends. I'm just gonna put that out
thank
there.
you. Thank you,
But
Sully. It's a good movie.
I think he kind of just does the same thing every time where it's like Halloween and Exorcist. It's just like a modern take. The old villain comes back. No one knows what to do. So they contact the person from the previous film that's old now. And they're like, you have experience. What do we do? And then the rest is just the same thing over again. So,
And then it just tries to preach to the choir at the very end of the movie.
yeah.
Where it's like, oh, they were possessed by Satan.
Yeah.
Fuck you. No. You want to know what made, like, the original Exorcist was so scary, but it didn't even try to preach to you at the end. Like, it still had faith-based elements in it, but it wasn't trying to preach to you.
Where are you at with Five Nights at Freddy's?
I loved it.
You loved it.
I am like, I mean, look over here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right by my Gremlins poster, there's literally a Five Nights at Freddy's poster right there. I got that from my theater.
Also love the Gremlins poster.
Yeah, the Gremlins.
I'm gonna do a video later on about like what I think are the 10 best Christmas movies ever made, and Gremlins is definitely on there.
Classic right there.
I love Gremlins.
The classic. But I was gonna say, let's see.
Laren, no. I like Halloween Ends more and more every time I watch it. I think I've bumped it from like a 2.5 to like a 3.5 star movie. Like I enjoy
I've had it at 4 stars since I first saw it. Like,
yeah. I like the Corey Cunningham stuff, you know?
Thank you. The Corey Cunningham stuff was good.
And I think the idea that, like, look, okay, this is where I'll agree with the haters a little bit, is like, was it the best idea to have all the trailers promoting that it was going to be this massive movie that was just around the showdown between Michael and Laurie, this final one time, and then it veers off to this random kid we've never seen before instead of Michael Myers? Probably not a great idea from a marketing perspective, and probably not a great idea to do it in the supposed final film. But the idea that Michael Myers is so evil that he like infected the town itself, and like another guy became this monster with him at bay, is like a really interesting idea. Like, I really dig it.
Yeah, it's a really good idea because it's like they could have done that obviously with this installment, like, but it's like, did you really have to do that for the final chapter?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
the worst movie's ever seen. I refuse to believe that it's the worst thing you've ever seen.
I refuse to agree with you, because I mean I obviously do not agree by any goddamn stretch. Like,
yeah, I mean there are like 40 movies this year that I've seen that are already worse than that. But
I mean, hell, Hypnotic is worse than Halloween Ends. I'll be honest.
I didn't watch that one.
Not good.
It had stinker written all over it, so I just didn't go. But
well, there you go. See, you're actually saving yourself some time.
You're not going to like what I'm going to say next. I'm going to say it because I know it'll probably get a little bit of a reaction out of you. That I like Halloween Ends much better than Skinamarink. I hate Skinamarink.
That's, that one I'm not going to get mad at, because it's like that movie is very much so split.
It's very niche.
Yeah, it's a very much so for a niche audience. So it's like I can't really get mad either way.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, what's another one that's worse? House Party? That one was worse.
Did you see Retribution with Liam Neeson this year?
Still haven't seen it. I mean, I
It's
own it,
bad,
but
man.
I still want to give it a try. But
It's bad. Let me know when you watch that one. Obviously, below it, you'll never believe this because I champion this film as a joke all the time, is Meg 2: The Trench.
you can laugh at me more for this one because I own it now.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta own the set. There's a third one coming out, so they're gonna.
I mean,
it's gonna
and I already owned the first one beforehand, so
I mean, hey,
obviously had to buy.
I love the first one. So,
But seriously, how could you make a movie involving three sharks and other creatures with Jason Statham so goddamn boring?
there's like barely any sharks in it.
They don't show up until like the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's bad.
And all that you see in the trailers with the sharks and the creatures and all that is all you will get in the movie. Like, that is literally it.
I don't know if you checked it out. I don't recommend it. I mean, if you're gonna go see it, whatever. And maybe you did see it and you disagree with me, but I think what's even worse than that is, did you see It's a Wonderful Knife yet?
No, my theater's not playing that. Like,
Dude, it's not. It's really bad. I didn't even really have a fun time with it, unfortunately. But
oh yeah, there's also this Netflix movie that's definitely worse than Halloween Ends. I am not shitting you with this movie title. It's like literally the dumbest title I've heard.
Tell me it's Tall Girl.
No.
Okay, what is it?
I'm saying from this year.
Oh, from this year. Okay.
It's literally a Netflix. It's a foreign slasher film on Netflix called Killer Book Club.
Yeah, I've not seen that. I thought you were going to say The Conference. I heard that came out and actually people liked it, but I haven't seen it.
The Conference was all right. Like,
yeah.
But very, very, very pretentious.
Yeah.
Like,
both of them or the book club one?
No, I was just talking about the Conference.
The Conference, yeah.
The Conference is pretty pretentious, but Killer Book Club is just a really tamed down slasher.
Yeah.
I just could not get into it for the life of me, dude. So terrible.
I haven't even seen it. I think I gotta say though, I think Netflix movies haven't been bad. Other than, I mean, obviously, Your Place or Mine takes my least favorite of the year spot, but I think Netflix movies haven't been that bad this year. Actually, they've been pretty good.
I mean, I've watched a lot of Netflix movies, so I mean,
I think still my favorite movie of the year right now is still They Cloned Tyrone. So,
and that's a Netflix movie.
Yeah, that's a Netflix movie. And I mean,
my
The Killer's
The Killer film of the year is The Killer.
Yeah, The Killer's in my number 4 spot. So there's definitely some.
Yeah, I mean, like there's good Netflix movies out there. I mean, there's Hustle.
Also from this year, Extraction 2. I liked that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
Honestly, so much better than the first one. Like,
I go back and forth, but they're both. I like them both a lot. So
the first one I thought was it was good, but I don't know. But Extraction 2, though, that movie was good stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. They just need to make like 1 million of those.
But why couldn't we get that? Why couldn't we get that one on the big screen, for crying out loud?
I know. Yeah, Netflix just like doesn't care. I mean, like you saw. I'm assuming. Did you see? You saw The Killer at home, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't have like a big enough theater chain to play it.
Yeah, well, they didn't even go to chains. Like I'm lucky enough that I have like an awesome indie small theater near me, and it was playing it for a week. So I was like, okay, I have to jump on it because I know a week from now it's going to be gone, and it's already gone. But I'm super happy that I was able to see it on the big screen. But that again, they like Netflix for some reason, like they'll have some awesome projects, especially this year. They've had a really good slate of projects, but they just have no desire to really, impress people with the theatrical experience. I don't know why.
Exactly. Like, but then there's obviously movies that are out that are on Netflix that are just strictly meant for Netflix.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like,
I mean, like
Mine.
Your Place or Mine, like I said, with Killer Book Club, that one was definitely made for Netflix.
Let's see what else.
I was gonna say, like, I was trying to think of another one that just. Oh yeah, little movie called Run Rabbit Run.
Yeah, that didn't need to be up on the big screen. I was mixed on that.
That one was pretentious as fuck, man. It
It
was
was definitely
so
pretentious.
bad
It was definitely pretentious.
and also repetitive. Like
I'm trying to see
when
what
you see
else.
when you basically if you get like basically if you hear someone saying Mia, Mia, Mia about like 14,000 times, you get Run Rabbit Run.
It brought me back to my days watching Lost with the guy screaming Walt over and over again.
Run Rabbit Run is one of the worst films I've seen all year long. I fucking hated that movie. So
Yeah, it was.
terrible.
I mean, I'm definitely never gonna watch it again. Like, I don't
But
see
I
it
mean, I know
happening.
what movie for sure that's gonna be on my worst of, and for a majority of my friend group, gonna be on their worst of.
What's that?
That I don't think you're ever gonna watch because I mean, who the hell cares about Nefarious?
Yeah, I didn't see Nefarious. I heard enough about it that I didn't feel the need to
I
check it
mean,
out.
who freaking cares at this point? It's evil.
It's literally just an hour and a half conversation too, right? Like it's just
Literally just an hour and a half conversation about basically religious beliefs.
right, like there's no God and a God-fearing guy arguing against that, right? Like
Yeah, and also trying to preach to the choir for absolutely no reason, and even to a certain point where it will offend a lot of people.
yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like something I'm gonna want to waste my time on.
I came to watch a movie. I didn't want to watch a freaking hour and a half long of an evil sermon.
Yeah,
Literally.
it is.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my god. And then I also saw this really flashy film starring Peyton List called The Friendship Game.
Okay, I've heard of it. I
Not
like
good.
was one of those where I almost watched it, but I didn't end up doing it.
But then also another one that's also pretty despicable that will definitely be on my buddy Grant's worst of list is Spinning Gold.
Yeah, I
The
kept
movie made by the
getting
kids of the person that exploited and made money off of it and intentionally raped some of the greatest musicians of all time. And they thought it was so cool at that point.
I
And I was just, and yeah, no, 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 no.
they really wanted to push that one out too, which is interesting because I didn't go and I didn't watch it, but they must have sent out like 80 emails of early screenings for that movie, and I just didn't see any of it.
I mean, you probably didn't even care by that point.
No,
Like,
yeah, it didn't.
because that movie is so despicable because it's like, why would you depict a guy that literally did all of those really terrible things to some of the greatest musicians of all time and make him look like Arnold in freaking Predator? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Let's see.
If you want to watch a better music movie, you should be watching the Weird Al Yankovic story. So
The movie that literally destroys its own genre.
yeah,
Like,
it was a great movie. I really enjoyed
it's
that.
hilarious. I mean, you literally got like,
Was that last year?
yeah, that was
Yeah, it
last
was
year,
last
dude.
year. Yeah.
I mean, you literally got Rainn Wilson as Weird Al's manager. Like,
Yeah. Oh my god, what was his name? Hold on. Do you remember it?
I shit.
It was like a magician's name.
Yeah, like because he was wearing
Um,
basically a magician's top hat. Like,
Dr. Demento. That's what it was.
that
God.
movie is so good.
Yeah, that was way funnier than I was expecting it to be.
I kind of expected it to take itself a little bit more seriously and actually be an actual biopic about Weird Al.
Yeah.
But once you actually see Daniel Radcliffe being as Weird Al, it's like the movie just takes a complete left turn on you.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, and so many cameos in that movie that I could just not stop laughing at,
Oh
especially when it
yeah.
came to Jack Black and David Dastmalchian's
Yeah.
cameo.
Yeah. What was that at like the pool party or something?
Yeah, I was at the pool
Yeah.
party, and Weird Al was doing another one, Rides the Bus.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good movie. I gotta watch
So,
that again, honestly.
I mean, it's getting a physical release next month, so there you go.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good one to have on physical too, because like if I ever tell my friends to go watch it, like no one knows how to watch it on Roku. Like it's on the Roku channel, so
So yeah, just give them a physical copy, and they can watch the movie then.
I know I should.
Man, like, why do you think I have so many movies in my collection? I don't want to just stream movies all the time.
Yep, 100%.
Like, what's a good one? Oh, do you think I would just want to if I would ever want to watch this film again? Do you think I would just um stream Asteroid City on Peacock all the time or on Amazon Prime? No.
Which I gotta say, as a big Wes Anderson fan, somehow I still haven't seen Asteroid City, but I really
It's
gotta watch that.
definitely it's definitely as much Wes Anderson as Wes Anderson can get. So
I've heard that. I heard like he's not gonna be accessible or attract any new fans if they don't already like him. But if you're a huge Wes Anderson fan, it's like a massive Wes Anderson movie.
it's definitely for you. Like
Yeah. I mean, I still think I go back and forth. I think when I think about my favorite movie of his, I always go back and forth between Grand Budapest and Bottle Rocket. I love Bottle Rocket. Did you ever watch
dude,
that?
Bottle Rocket's a solid choice. Like
I love that movie, dude. When it was just like him and the Wilson brothers had like $3,000 to their name and made a movie. Spielberg says it's his favorite movie of the '90s. So,
well, there you go. See,
I know you never
it's a
know who's
good
going to
movie.
see your stuff.
I mean, my personal favorite's definitely Moonrise Kingdom.
Moonrise, yeah, Moonrise is an awesome one.
I think in regards to where Asteroid City for me would personally land is in my top 5.
Yeah.
Because it's like
I'll say this. After seeing it, and I think it was just because we hadn't gotten to Wes Anderson in a little bit. I think I'm blanking. What's the one about the newspaper that came out before Asteroid City?
that's the French Dispatch.
The French Dispatch. I think that I rated it too high. Like when I thought about it more and watched it again, it started to creep down. But I need to give that one another watch. I really liked, like, if they gave me the whole movie as the ending segment that Jeffrey Wright had, I loved that, where he was like in the car chase and there was like the missing kid and the kidnapped person and all that stuff. That was fantastic. But it's just keeps going down in my rankings. And that's not even saying that it's a bad film. I just think Wes Anderson has so many good films.
Yeah, I mean, there's only like one film of his I don't even like, and that's basically it. Everything else I either range from really like to calling a masterpiece.
Which one do you not like?
The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Yeah, that one's all right.
I didn't like that one whatsoever. I mean, I've only seen it once, but maybe a rewatch might help because I mean, if we're speaking on other really interesting filmmakers, talk about David Lynch. Because I watched when I watched Eraserhead for the first time last year, I didn't care for it. I thought it was so boring and so slow.
Yeah.
That's one of those films where it's like you have to at least watch it a second time to actually understand it better. Like,
yeah. I think in 2 weeks I'm gonna be seeing Eraserhead in 75 millimeter at the or 70.
Dude, that's gonna look good.
Like, yeah, it's gonna look awesome. I can't wait for that.
Yeah. I mean, like, how could you not like want to see an older film on the big screen? Like,
oh my god! I mean, it kills me because my favorite movie of all time is Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I still haven't managed to see that on the big screen yet. So,
I mean, a few weeks ago, I mean, actually last month, and I think talking about it, I saw Hocus Pocus for its re-release in my theater because my theater somehow they got it, and
yeah,
I was like, I haven't seen an older film in theaters before, so I decided to start off with that, and it was a lot of fun on the big screen. Like,
what do you have near you? Do you have a chain or is it a one-off theater?
It's just a one-off theater.
Yeah.
So it's a 5 screen theater. So
not a ton of selection.
Yeah. So, but the good thing was I was able to see Killers of the Flower Moon in my theater. So
yeah,
that was the one where I was like,
what's the next one like closer? Like the next closest theater after that? Is it super far away?
It's like 30. It's like half an hour away,
Yeah.
and it's only a 2-screen theater.
What? My God. Luke,
I
you're
know,
roughing it.
but I mean, hey, they were playing freaking like at least that theater as of right now is still carrying before Friday. They're still carrying Killers of the Flower Moon. So,
The 2-screen theater has Killers of the Flower Moon.
and they're also playing the Marvels. So,
Yeah. That's cool.
but this Friday that theater is going to be getting the Hunger Games.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not surprised that they're not going to get Thanksgiving though, because I mean,
It's a little bit more niche.
yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, because I mean, I think I know for sure that my theater is going to play Thanksgiving, like,
Mhm.
because I mean, my town loves their scary movies. Because you actually want to know something kind of funny?
Mhm.
Theater was packed for, but pretty much full for Scream 6, packed for Evil Dead Rise, packed for The Nun 2 or whatever the hell that movie is. Fuck, hate that movie. And then it was sold out for 2 showings in one night of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Like, seriously,
Yeah.
the 7:15 showing, which is the showing I went to, was sold out, and then the 9:35 showing was also sold out.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
and that was um and also, I know, I mean, I definitely understand people's complaints about the film's first act, but when it came to that scene in the mall where, like, actually kind of showing us like where Mike was going before
Hmm.
he started to work at Freddy Fazbear's, I thought actually that was a nice touch, because it helped us kind of understand like why he acts the way he does, especially with a lot of his mental health problems.
Yeah.
Because especially like when he saw the guy grab that kid in such a kind of a mean manner
Yeah.
in some ways, he didn't know that was actually the kid's dad. Like,
Hmm.
until you know who mentions it. Like,
Right. Yeah.
it's like, you beat up a guy in broad daylight in front of his child. And I was just like, well, how was he supposed to know?
I think for me, where the movie pisses me off a little bit is just that, like, for the first movie, and I'm a big horror gamer, and I played the first few Five Nights at Freddy's entries, so I know a decent bit of the lore and everything. I just wanted the first movie to be insanely straightforward and like they can get into the lore and all that extended stuff in later movies, but like I was just very surprised how much this first movie took us away from the awesome animatronics and away from the pizzeria. Like I wouldn't have minded if the entire movie took place just hour and a half inside the pizzeria. Even just one night too. I don't even care. It could have just been one night.
But then again, though, sometimes what makes a film better than it should be being character driven. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
that's kind of why I think that I kind of hold that film in a higher regard, is because it is a character driven movie. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I love Josh Hutcherson. Like, I've been a
Yeah.
big fan of him ever since I was a kid, and seeing him in a Five Nights at Freddy's movie was honestly kind of a dream come true to me. Because I was like, because I always thought to myself, if they could cast someone to play as a security guard, I like for the longest time I always thought Josh Hutcherson. Like,
Yeah.
and him actually getting that role, and dude, that guy is 31 years old.
I
Like,
know.
my God, where's the time gone?
Seriously.
But yeah, it was good to see him in a movie like this, and um, but do we even really need to say who the show stealer was, though?
I mean, I know who you're gonna say.
It's fucking Matthew Lillard. Like,
Yeah, no. I mean, it was great seeing him in that. I just wish he had even more to do than he had. Like, I wish I saw even more of that. But what we got is good. I mean, it's gonna be good in the future seeing him as Springtrap. So,
yeah,
I think
once
it'll be
that
good.
reveal came, I mean, look, I'm not like I don't know like the like all of the lore when it comes to
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's, but seeing that twist that he was actually Springtrap was like, what the hell?
So you didn't know like any of that. You didn't know any of the
Like, I
games
didn't
or
know
anything.
that part. I didn't know that
Yeah.
part of it. Like,
Yeah.
but I knew like at least some of the lore, but it was like that part of it I did not know. Like
Yeah.
that he was actually Springtrap. Like
Mhm.
that part of it I didn't know. But dude, the look of basically the look of the animatronics is exactly what they look like in the games.
Oh, it's spot on. The animatronics are great. And I think I will say it might have my favorite kill in any movie this year with the woman going into Freddy's mouth and just the shadow of the getting bit in half.
And I like how it didn't actually just completely show you um with the mouth or everything, like just
No,
her getting chomped in half. Like
the
it's done in the
shadow, and then you see
shadows.
the bottom half of the body fall. It was great.
That's even creepier than just seeing what like how it actually happens.
Yeah.
Like with like say like the camera is exactly in Freddy's mouth and then it just crunches. Like
Yeah.
it's like
You got to be
why
able
would
to
you want to
dance
see
around
that?
it. You got to be able to dance around it a bit.
Yeah, so basically when Emma Tammy decided to put it in the shadows, it's
Yeah.
like
It was a great
that is a
choice.
perfect way to do it. Like
Yeah, it was definitely a great choice.
yeah, and that kill, like when I saw that, I was like, no way,
Yeah.
they actually did that in a PG-13 movie. Like,
It just shows if you show a little shadow or silhouette it a bit, you can get away with a lot. As long as there's not blood splurting everywhere, you can get away with a lot.
I mean, there's definitely blood in that
Yeah.
movie. Like,
Yeah. It's kind of unavoidable.
I mean, isn't that? I mean,
I
you
mean,
can't really.
Springtrap has a knife, so
Well, I mean, and also when he gets the spring locks in, like he
yeah.
starts spraying out blood
Yeah.
out of his body. So it's like you can't be PG when you got a lot of blood.
Yeah. No, you can't.
I mean, let's try to do this though. This would actually be kind of interesting. Question is like, what do you think is like the flat out bloodiest, goriest movie like you've ever seen in your life? Where it's like you cannot think of
May
anything gorier than that.
maybe well, just because I know the amount of fake blood they used, probably like Evil Dead 2013, maybe. That entire third act, I think they used something like 80,000 gallons of fake blood for that entire like demon scene where she's fighting the demonic version of herself with the chainsaw. And like it's just
Oh.
raining blood in the background. That might be like from a technical level, might be the bloodiest movie I've ever seen. Probably one of the bloodiest movies ever.
But I don't think it's really going to match up the level of Terrifier 2's level of gore.
Yeah, so I'll say there's a difference between like blood and gore, right? So like blood, there's definitely more blood in Evil Dead than there is Terrifier 2, but the blood that's shown in Terrifier 2 is like way more graphic. Like
Like it is
the
extreme levels of gore.
the
Like
bedroom scene in Terrifier 2 is just like is more gory than anything that's in that 2013 Evil Dead.
basic or honestly even gorier than any other kill scene you'll ever see in your life. Like
Yeah, it becomes so gratuitous and like so extra basically. I mean they knew what they were doing.
exactly. And I mean
I'm glad the third
it's
one's going
art
to
the
be a
clown,
Christmas
so it's
movie.
like they can get away with it.
I'm glad the third one's gonna be a Christmas movie. That'll be pretty entertaining.
That's gonna be interesting. Might even try to follow like the tropes of a Christmas Bloody Christmas,
Yeah.
the Shutter exclusive film with the
Which I
robot
liked.
Santa.
Yeah, I liked that.
That film was fun, dude. Like, I
I thought
mean,
it
it
was
took a
it
little
was
while to
fun.
get going, but I mean, but once you saw the robotics, like once the robotic Santa started killing people, that's when I was like, whoa, this movie's
Yeah,
going
it was a
what?
good simple concept and they did it the right way.
I mean, yeah, it's it's a lot of fun, dude. Like, whoa, like once you see some of those kill sequences, like and how they're done so creatively, it's like it just blows your mind with how much stuff they can get away with in indie horror.
Yeah. 100%.
Like like I mean, obviously the biggest example of that is Terrifier 2 because if you put that in like mainstream or basically bigger studios, a lot of that you cannot get away with. Like,
Yeah, I saw that in a theater and people were definitely reacting to it.
I mean, did some of them even like walk out vomiting? Like,
Not to that I don't think it was to that extent, and I do think that like for the vast majority, the people there like knew what they were signing up for. Like these weren't like people that had never seen a horror movie before. They kind of knew.
I mean, yeah, right, but it's like when it came to like, I'm just saying like when it came to like that extreme level of gore, like
Yeah, it's a lot for sure. Not everyone can handle that.
definitely not squeamish people. Like
No.
that's why, like I said, like when it came to the Saw movies, it's like you gotta really know if you're squeamish or not.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, trying to think of another one where it's like, oh, this is not even a horror film. It's like action but when it comes to like a franchise film, I think this might even be like the most brutal one in the trilogy, The Equalizer 3.
I still haven't seen that.
Dude, that movie is brutal.
I'll have to check that out. I mean, I like Denzel and I like Anton Fuqua, but I just haven't seen it yet. Heard good things though.
The more I come to think about it, I think that's actually, I'm not going to try to hype it up too much, but in my personal opinion, I think it's the best out of the three.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I mean, again, this is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer. So there's literally a scene like where he stabs a guy in the eye with a gun and starts shooting out of it. Literally, that actually happens. It's at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you why you don't want to fuck with Denzel Washington.
They're not screwing around.
No, he doesn't screw around. Like,
yeah, I'll have to watch it. I still haven't seen it.
It's a really good sequel. I mean, the villains are definitely the weakest,
right?
Because it's just basically a bunch of drug lords.
Yeah, but also like, who cares? That's not what you're there to see anyway. So
you're there to see Denzel Washington kick ass and basically bring peace to Italy. Like, and that's why I love his character of Robert McCall so much. Is like, he's not really like, he doesn't really have like the biggest reason to basically wanting to kill these people. He just wants to bring peace.
Yeah,
that's all.
Just does it in an interesting way.
Exactly. Do I look like the killer?
Yeah.
I love that guy. I'm trying to speak on films where it's like when I heard so many some bad things about it, I watched it and I was like, "What? Like, how was this terrible?"
Yeah.
The one that really comes to mind for me is the new Gerard Butler film Kandahar.
Yeah, I didn't get around to watching that one either. I was supposed to go to a screening for it, and I just think something came up.
I didn't think it was too bad. I mean, one of my buddies said it was kind of racist, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Mm-hmm. If you say, because that movie kind of has a similar in vein concept to Guy Ritchie's The Covenant,
right? I could kind of guess
that. But then
it's
like if you call Kandahar racist, that's basically like you're calling The Covenant racist.
Yeah,
like I'm not trying to diss on people that don't like Kandahar because that's fine, but it's like, if you call that film racist, you're basically calling The Covenant racist,
right?
And plus, The Covenant is not racist. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I haven't really heard those critiques, but I'm sure they're out there.
But I've heard some people say that that Kandahar is racist.
Yeah,
like, come on, guys. There's other films that are like definitely racist. Like, so, but Kandahar though, I don't find that film racist.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to talk about films that are kind of misogynistic, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yeah, definitely. Most of, if not all of the victims in that film are girls.
Yeah, almost all. I think there might just be like one guy.
There's like 4 guys, and then the rest of them were girls.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to do my math counting like correctly, I'd say like 6 girls.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I'm never watching it again, so so I can't. Yeah, aren't they already doing another one? I think they're already doing another one. Unfortunately,
I mean, the film made a lot of money, so it's like.
Yeah, wait. I gotta look up the box office for this. Hold on. What's your guess? How much money do you think it made?
I actually already know how much it made. I already know how much it made. $5.2 million.
On what, like a $100,000 budget or something?
It's the reported budget is less than $100,000, but it's who cares? It is $100,000.
So, oh my God, it is 100,000. Yeah, okay, hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, $100,000, $5.2 million. I mean, of course, if they're making that much for, they made a 5.1, and let's call it like 5 because maybe they spent like 100K on advertising. But like, if they made $5 million of profit on that, of course they're gonna start churning these movies out.
Exactly. but seriously though, and plus, I mean, and also with the way that the writers treat the girls in that film, they treat them like the dumbest people on planet Earth. Like,
wasn't this movie only in theaters for like 1 day too?
They extended it because of how much money it made.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to my point. Why were the writers just trying to make the girls in the film the dumbest people on the planet? Like,
yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Because I mean, honestly, like some of the girls are really like the girls in that film are really pretty. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like, did you really have to do that?
Yeah, like, I mean, there's some rules in horror that they probably should have kept going instead of just doing a full out onslaught of every female character that was involved in it. But I mean, it's not a good movie.
You could have had someone like freaking Sienna from Terrifier 2 being actually a good and badass final girl.
Being a badass, yeah. Yeah, she was great in that.
I mean, how could she not be though? Come on now. That third act just shows like why we need badass final girls like Sienna.
Yeah.
Like, oh God. The way that she just basically decapitates Art the Clown is just it's insane. And the stuff that they accomplished on a really skimpy budget, like.
Do you think that 2 was like way better than the first one?
It's a lot better than the first, but I mean, I still really like the first Terrifier.
Yeah, like, I do too. Yeah,
I mean, I more like it as a silly, dumb, over the top kind of gore fest. Like, I don't look at it as a movie. I just kind of look morally at it as a gore fest.
It's also way more almost like a student film. Like when you look at like the production. Like,
yeah,
the
exactly.
Second one's so much higher up.
Yeah, because they actually have more stuff to do, and also the fact that they had a little bit more of a higher budget with the sequel. So yeah,
it made crazy money in comparison to its budget.
Exactly, but I think we already know what the biggest problem of the first Terrifier that the second one improved upon: plot.
Oh yeah, there's more of like
there was no plot in the first Terrifier. That's kind of why it was. That's kind of why it's not really a classic. The second one at least had plot going on. Like there was conflict and all that good stuff. Like
yeah, I mean, I think the first one was almost like you said, there wasn't a lot of plot. It almost felt like it was like the Terrifier version of Halloween Kills because it just like was random scenes of him murdering people and stuff, which is entertaining. But
I mean, I'm not complaining because it's entertaining as hell.
The second one, I think they did a good job adding that like weird supernatural element to it and stuff. So
and also kind of like giving us reasons to root for Sienna besides with basically what goes on in her everyday life.
Yeah,
that dream sequence actually really helped us like understand like what she's going through.
I forgot about that. That's such a bizarre scene.
It's like the ice cream parlor. Freaking Tommy gun and just starts shooting everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What was it, like an ice cream parlor or something?
It's called.
He was like handing out ice creams, I think, or something.
No, I know he handed out popcorn to one kid, and then he handed out like a gigantic lollipop, and then just stuck it in a kid's mouth.
Right, yeah.
And then when he's searching in his big bag of weapons,
yeah.
I was gonna say big bag of tricks, but it's like he doesn't really have tricks.
Yeah,
it's just weapons. Yeah. So he pulls out a freaking Tommy gun, which, By the way, missed opportunity. You could have at least had Art the Clown speak one time and say, Tommy gun. Like,
You don't
come
want him
on.
to say. You don't want him to say hello to my little friend.
Nah, I think the a Tommy gun is a little bit funnier.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of glad they didn't do that though, because it's like you can't ruin that great line.
And just keep it consistent. Like if he's not going to talk, don't let him talk.
Exactly. Like, so not. I mean, what do you think the ones that talk are more terrifying, or the slasher killers that don't talk?
I go back and forth on this a lot because I think my personal favorite slasher villain. I've always been a Jason Voorhees guy. I've always been a Friday the 13th guy. Obviously, he doesn't talk, but I think that you could make the argument that, like, even though it's not my pick, I totally understand the argument of people saying that Freddy Krueger is the best slasher villain, just because, like, and I mean Chucky does this too, but especially Freddy, who I think is more iconic. But um, that he's funny, that he's like the only one of like the core four that like talks a ton. He never shuts up, actually. It's like not even that he speaks. Like it's interesting that he's the only one that speaks, but he never shuts up. I think that's like it just makes the movie so much more entertaining. It just shows that it could work. Like there's so many that never spoke ever. And
I mean, obviously Art the Clown doesn't talk, and he's a freaking creep. Like, I mean, who else? Michael Myers. Like,
no speaking from Michael Myers.
Well, unless you're talking about the director's cut of freaking Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Does he speak in that?
There's literally one scene in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the director's cut of it, where he goes, "Die, fuck off."
So I go back and forth, like the two, like his Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, whatever. I always have a soft spot, unfortunately, for his first one, just because I remember I was on a trip to New Zealand with these guys when I was very young, and it was like the year that movie had come out, and I wasn't really into like horror movies yet, and we rented it at the video store and watched it back in our hotel that night. And so it's like I kind of hold it up on a pedestal because I'm biased to it because it kind of got me into horror, that movie specifically. So I know it's not a great movie, but that's the one that I'm like, okay, I kind of hold that one higher up than most because of that.
Yeah. But let's hit these comments. Mikey is in the building.
What's up, dude?
Spoiler Kings
in the house.
What's up? That's right.
He got it.
Yep, he knew it. It was The Mask. I mean, I love The Mask. Like,
I haven't seen it in so long. I really need to give it a rewatch.
I mean, yeah, some of it is pretty dated, but it's like it helps for the film's advantage because it's like it's so stupid and so silly, but it's like Jim Carrey was known for that back in the 90s.
Yeah.
The one that got him into horror was The Purge.
Yeah, I mean, I like the first Purge. I mean, also, who am I to complain about an Ethan Hawke movie? I love Ethan Hawke, so
I mean, I love Ethan Hawke as well. I mean,
I will say not about The Purge specifically, but I've seen every single horror movie under the sun. I'm so desensitized, nothing scares me. And Sinister with Ethan Hawke scared the absolute shit out of me when I was watching it when I was growing up.
Oh my god, dude, that movie freaks me out. Like,
dude, it's something about it. Like, and then I don't know if you saw this. So for years I was like, I kept coming back to Sinister, even though I'm like, I know it's kind of like not a great horror movie, but and I never get scared from horror movies, but that one scared the crap out of me. I don't know if you saw it, that they like did a study, like they did a scientific study about like the scariest horror movies ever. And like Sinister, they hooked a bunch of people up to like heart monitors and stuff, right? To like monitor how they felt while they were watching horror movies. And out of all the horror movies they made people watch, Sinister had people's like blood pressure and heartbeat spiking through the roof, like out of any.
Oh my god!
So like from a scientific point of view, Sinister was crowned like the scariest movie ever, which is crazy. But I'm like, okay, I guess that means that there was something to it because that's the one that stuck with me. And I guess now after all these years, I should have been in that goddamn study. But you know,
But I don't know. I mean, if you want to know the one that has gotten me the most, like without question, I mean, the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life is The Exorcist.
yeah, I will say I think I watched that one too late in my life. Like I honestly wish I watched it when I was younger. It would have had more of an impression on me. Like obviously it's still a great horror movie. But and
An
now I'm
absolute
kind of looking at
classic.
it.
Like,
I'm kind of looking at it more whenever I watch it, I'm kind of looking at it more in a technical perspective. Um but yeah, no, I Exorcist is definitely a great movie. Definitely a great horror movie.
but you want to know a horror film that made me that actually scared me? I couldn't even go to sleep for the whole night.
What?
Hereditary.
Yeah, Hereditary is a great one.
That
It's
movie
like
scared me to like, and I couldn't even sleep for the whole night. Like I was just staying awake, and I was just so paranoid after watching that movie.
that might be in like my top 10 favorite horror movies ever.
So damn good.
Absolutely
Like,
love that horror movie. I'll say this, not a movie, but TV show that scared the crap out of me. And I haven't rewatched it. It probably still would. Is Mike Flanagan's Haunting of Hill House scared the crap
I
out of
knew it.
me.
Like
Dude,
I
scared
actually knew
the
you were gonna say
crap
that.
out of me. There's some incredible jump scares there, and he was the king in that show of setting up jump scares exactly how he did in previous episodes. And you're like, oh, god damn it, here it comes. And then he would never do it. Would made it even worse because I was just on edge the whole time, and that never even came. So
Exactly. And
yeah.
you also want to know what would make jump scares like really effective? Tension.
Yeah,
Like,
and which he's great at.
like,
Did you watch House of Usher?
no, I didn't watch House of Usher yet. I have seen
No.
Hill House though. Don't
Yeah.
worry. I have seen Hill House.
You'll like Usher. I liked it a lot. I still think Hill
Yeah.
House is his best, but Usher might be his second best.
But when it comes to like again, like I said, when it comes to setting up jump scares, you really have to have your audience like really feel the tension. Like like I'll tell you this, like the Black Phone, I've seen that movie so many times now, but like
Mhm.
every single time that I watch it, it's like the tension just continuously ramps up.
Mhm.
Like especially when you get to like the jump scares, like there's barely any music like when it comes to the jump scare. Like before a jump scare, it just goes boom.
Yeah.
Like there's barely any music, so that's what makes it more spine tingling. Because it's like you don't expect it coming. Like,
And again, proving that every time Ethan Hawke is in a horror movie, it's good.
but this time actually playing the villain,
Yeah, no, I loved that.
him as the grabber, I thought was a perfect casting choice.
Great
But when it came
mask
to
too.
that mask,
Yeah,
oh,
it's a great
but I was
mask.
gonna say, the movie's based off of the short story by Stephen King's son, Joe
Yeah.
Hill.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, but basically they were because the grabber originally was described as fat, and it was heavily inspired by killer clown John Wayne Gacy.
Mm.
But their first choice to cast to play as the grabber was Ethan Hawke
Yeah.
because of his voice.
Yeah.
So they abandoned a lot of the character. So they basically abandoned most of the traits that
Just to get Ethan Hawke in there.
is exactly. And also Scott Derrickson has a great history with Ethan Hawke. So it's like you
Sinister,
can't really go
right?
wrong with that.
Isn't that Sinister too? Did he do that?
He did not do Sinister 2. Like
No. Scott Derrickson did Sinister, right?
the first Sinister,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
but he didn't do Sinister 2. Like,
I don't even know if I ever saw the second one, to be honest.
the
But
second one's terrible. It's not even about the boogeyman. It's just about this lady
who's
trying to
the
escape her crazy ex.
who's the main character? Is it even anyone we know? Is it even a famous actor?
Not that I know of, to be honest.
Sinister
Because
2.
who even cares about that movie?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even really know this director.
But the sad part about it is that Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill were involved with the screenplay.
Yeah.
But
For the second one?
yep.
Yeah. They do some good
But
stuff, though.
thankfully, they had a chance to redeem themselves with the Black Phone. So
Aren't they doing Black Phone 2?
And I think Scott Derrickson is still going to stay in the director's chair, so that helps. Like,
Yes, I forgot. It got announced right before Halloween. Summer 2025.
yeah, and I think I don't know if it's still confirmed yet or not, but I think Scott Derrickson is still staying in the director's chair.
Is it? Do you think they're good? Do you think it's going to be Ethan Hawke again?
I don't think so. I mean,
Because I'm trying to
spoilers for
think.
anyone
His
who's not
character.
seen the Black Phone. He literally had his neck snapped by a phone wire.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I'm curious
what?
to see. But I mean, you take him out. You take him out of there though, and like you kind of need him. So I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sinister is the movie that I will never watch by myself.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't watch that movie by myself.
I might have to
anymore.
watch that tonight. I might have to just put myself to the test.
Oh god.
I need to. I'm a glutton for punishment. So
If I was in the mood for a punishment, I would just watch that one scene over and over again from Talk to Me. Like,
oh my god.
the run scene.
God. But I will
Fucking
say,
A.
that is one of the most stylish and addicting scenes I've seen in a movie this year. Though, is that that montage of them having fun doing it at the party first. Though, God, that is
That
such a
shit
good
was
scene.
crazy. Like,
Yeah, that was an awesome sequence. I love that movie. I can't believe they're doing a prequel and a sequel, right?
yeah, like
Yeah.
same thing that they did with X and Pearl last year. Like,
Yeah. That I heard somewhere that so the lead actress in that crushed that movie. She was so good. And I read somewhere that they already only had a budget of like $4.5 million or something, right? And when they told the studio or their producers or whoever their financiers were, um, that they wanted that girl that they went with, the producers in the studio like didn't want her. Like for some reason they were like, no, she's not right for this. We don't want her. And they were like, well, we're using her. And they're like, okay, well, if you're using her, we're reducing your budget. So they said, we don't care. So they got their budget reduced because they took that girl, and it still is an absolute banger of a horror movie. They've got some real talent. Like
they really do,
the
and it's
fact that
like
their budget got shrunk and they still found a way to make that movie awesome. That's a killer movie. And I saw that way too late. I didn't
crazy
even
to
get to see
think
that. I didn't even get to see that in theaters, which is going to haunt me. But
I mean, my theater doesn't play A24 films, so it's like, yeah, they don't. So yeah, I couldn't even see Beau is Afraid in the theater, which would have been a really interesting experience.
I still haven't seen Beau is Afraid. I've heard so many things about it, and I love Ari Aster, but for some reason, I still have not seen it. It's one that kind of slipped by.
But
Do you think? Well, do you think that one's massively controversial, or are you like you loved it, or you hated it, or?
it's a definite love or hate type movie. Like, you can't really land in the middle with Beau is Afraid.
And did you love it?
Of course, I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
But when it
Yeah,
comes
I
to
watched it.
A24 films this year, though, nothing's beating Past Lives for me. Like,
Which is another one of my blind spots. That's been on my watch list for a long time. I need to watch it before I make my end of the year list. I've heard it's that good, but
it's my personal favorite film of the year. Like,
yeah.
Like, here's how my top 5 goes: Mission Impossible, Bottoms, Joyride, Dumb Money, Past Lives.
Mine right now is They Clone Tyrone, John Wick 4, Oppenheimer, The Killer, and Talk to Me.
Really good top 5 right there.
Yeah.
Again, The Killer's in like my top 15.
Yeah.
And same thing with John Wick Chapter 4. That one got bumped down because of Bottoms. Thinking about it more and more, and obviously just watching The Killer.
I'm just happy that, and who knows, because there's a lot of good movies coming out, so I don't think it's going to hold on. But I'm just happy that still hanging on in my top 10 at the number 10 spot is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves. Love that movie.
That movie's so good, man.
So much fun.
Like, dude, the practical effects that they use for that movie is impressive.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously.
Why can't we get more movies like that? Come on now,
It felt like it
people.
was right out of the '90s with all the animatronics and the costumes. They really should. They really need to keep doing stuff like that.
Yeah, but they don't want to because they think CGI is easier. But I mean, I know it's not easier, but it's like they think it's the easy route.
Right. And it looks crappy. It looks crappy in the process.
Sometimes it does. I mean, if you're thinking on
Yeah.
something like if you're thinking on something like The Creator, it looks so freaking good with the
Mhm.
visuals. The
Yeah, that movie
CGI and
looked
everything
great.
in that movie looks great.
Yeah, that movie looked great.
And I really liked The Creator. I don't think it's like one of the best films of the year, like not by a long shot. Like
I'm unfortunately on the I think the creator is disappointing train. I mean, it's not like I trashed it and thought it was awful. I gave it a 3 out of 5, but it was
that's
just one of
fine. Like
those
that's
it
still
was just
like
one
at
of those
least
things, like, visually, it's incredible. Like, from a technical standpoint and how the movie was made, unbelievable stuff. But I just thought the story was kinda hollow and kinda just like a mashup of a ton of sci-fis we'd already seen before, so
yeah, but then people just want to go support Exorcist Believer and not
yeah,
support a good sci-fi film like The Creator. They really just want to go support really terrible movies,
yeah.
and that's one of
Yeah.
them.
It's definitely not a good one.
I mean, at least Five Nights at Freddy's made back its budget within a weekend. Like,
Oh,
because
yeah, that
that movie was only
first
on a $20 million budget, and it made $80 million opening weekend. Like,
it probably made back its money on its first day, honestly.
probably did though, because it's like, and the movie was only a $20 million budget. Like,
Yeah.
and how much did it need to break even? It needed $50 million,
Mhm.
and
I bet it probably made, like, 30 in its first day or something, but still
but
really good.
it didn't break even within its first day. It broke even over the weekend.
I think worldwide, I saw either today or yesterday or something, I think worldwide it hit, like, 250 mil. So,
Yeah, so it's no doubt we're gonna get sequels.
yeah.
Like it's not a question because it's like the movie
Just
made
give
a shit ton of
me
money.
just give me way more Matthew Lillard and I'll be there. So,
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
need more
But I was
William
gonna
Afton.
say like another movie that I know we're definitely gonna get sequels to because it made a lot of money. Super Mario Brothers. Like,
Mhm. I hope we get the whole cinematic universe at this point, because I mean,
I mean, we need a Donkey Kong Country movie. We need that.
well, I don't know if you saw, I put out like a video probably like right after the Mario movie came out. My number one pick for the movie we need next from Nintendo is Luigi's Mansion. I'm a massive Luigi's Mansion guy.
Yeah,
So I would love to see that. If they could do it, I don't think that they would. But my two top projects, if I could have my perfect Nintendo movies, would be a Luigi's Mansion movie and a Zelda Wind Waker movie. If I get
Wind
those
Waker. That'd be
2,
interesting.
if I get those 2, even though Wind Waker's pretty vast, if they ever get into the TV show game, if you gave me like an 8-episode Wind Waker show, I'd be all over that. That'd be incredible. But and I'm very worried about the live action Zelda movie. I'll tell you that right now. Um, but
Uh,
we'll see what happens, I guess.
but yeah, I mean, one I definitely would want to see is Donkey Kong Country movie.
Yeah.
Not even that. Give me a Star Fox movie. Like
So, did you have a GameCube?
I had GameCube games and I could play those on my Wii, but I never actually like had a GameCube console.
But you could play GameCube games. Did you ever play Star Fox Adventures?
No,
Okay. Do you know what it is?
I kind of get what Star Fox is. Like
But
I
it's
get what those games
this
are.
is a weird one. Like, it's the one that isn't in your ship the whole time, because usually the Star Fox games were famous for just like being like a combat ship simulator, right? Star Fox
Like a fighter
Adventures,
pilot simulator in some
right?
ways.
Star Fox Adventures is the one that you get out of your ship and you get like crash landed on this like dinosaur planet with all these talking dinosaurs, and like there's crazy lore behind it and an awesome action story that like I would freak out if they did a movie version of that. But again, that was just like a one-off game, not what Star Fox is known for, so I doubt they'll ever do it. But Nintendo has so many good properties that I'd like to see movies of.
I mean, hey, they got so many like great like so many great games to a point where it's like, yeah, you could do this one. Like, um, I know this is just a one video game on the Nintendo 64, but it's like it was made with what used to be known as Rareware.
Hold on. I already know what you're going to say. Well, at least maybe. There's a couple rare games. There's one rare game that I play every single year. Just go back and play it because it's emulated on the Xbox now, so I can play it whenever. I am a massive Banjo-Tooie guy. Like, I love Banjo and Kazooie, and I play that game, the second one, literally annually. But Microsoft owns the character now, obviously, so it's not going to happen. But I thought either you were going to say that or Conker's Bad Fur Day or Donkey Kong 64.
I mean, but this one's kind of more of a bug killing game.
Oh, is it like Perfect Zero or something? Perfect Dark or whatever it's called?
Nope, it's Jet Force Gemini.
Right. I have
This
that
game
on
right
the
here.
Xbox too. Yes, I have that on the Xbox as well.
That would actually be kind of interesting to see a Jet Force Gemini movie.
It's almost like a animated version of like what's it called? It's like an animated version of like Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of interesting to see. Like that would actually be kind of fun seeing a Jet Force Gemini movie, like in similar in vein to Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
like,
it'd be cool.
Like
they've got a lot of games they can do it for.
I mean, we've already had enough we already had some Mortal Kombat movies, so
yes.
Wait, we haven't gotten one for Castlevania. I don't think Castlevania would be interesting.
I'm gonna look up best N64 games now to remind me. There's definitely some really good ones. Let's see. Obviously, like ignoring like the Zeldas and like the Mario games of the world because they can't really.
I mean, we've already had Rampage.
Right. Yeah. I forgot.
Oh wait, this would actually be kind of interesting. I don't know if you ever heard of this game, but this would actually be kind of an interesting one to adapt into a movie. Bomberman.
Oh yeah, I like Bomberman.
Yeah,
or
like,
you know
Bomberman
what?
would actually be kind of interesting. Like,
give me it would have to be way deeper because like into the Nintendo filmography if they make a ton of them because it wouldn't get made unless there was like a bunch of Mario movies before it. But I would love if they made a Paper Mario movie.
that would actually be a lot of fun. Like,
That'd be so cool, and the art would look awesome. Like the graphics would just look so slick.
Yeah, I would agree with. Yeah, give me that. Like, I'm trying to think of like other cool
and if
games.
if you don't want to beat Mario Kart in the ground, just do a one-off movie that's Diddy Kong Racing.
Yes, or give me a Turok movie, like basically Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
Turok would be sick. If you give me like,
cool.
if you give me like a Turok movie in the vein of the dinosaur and bug stuff that was in Peter Jackson's version of King Kong, I'd be all over it.
Absolutely.
That's a movie I think is a masterpiece. So,
yeah, like seriously, just seeing, like I just have no words for how he would get that movie. Like,
speaking of just video game movies in general, though, I'm very, very excited. But I need Jim Carrey back. Very excited for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
There's been some pretty damn good video game movies as of recent. Mm-hmm. We had obviously we had both Sonic movies. Obviously we had Super Mario Brothers.
Yep.
And then we had Gran Turismo, which
Gran Turismo's good. Which is shocking, but it was good.
And look, I understand the argument that people think it would have worked better as a documentary than as a biopic, but here's my argument towards that. If it was a documentary, we wouldn't have as thrilling a racing sequence as we actually had in the actual movie.
Right, it would have just been footage. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have just been footage. Like, because the race sequences in the movie Gran Turismo, those leave you on the edge of your seat because it's like you don't know what's gonna happen or like what's gonna happen to who,
Yeah,
like who's gonna crash, anything like that. Like
100%.
so it's
Yeah,
like, and plus Neil Blomkamp was aware of that. So
yeah,
but again, the only thing that holds that movie back for me is the CGI crashes.
yeah. They were a
The CGI
little,
crashes were bad.
they were a little wonky.
Like especially when it came to our main character's crash, like just constantly his car flipping, like
Yeah,
that was bad. Like, but then the guy,
yeah.
like, but then one of the opponents at 24-hour Le Mans, like, it looks like they had like a string to just lift up the car, like,
Mhm.
because he just goes floating in the air for like 3 seconds. Like,
Yeah. Some
I
of
was
those
just like,
I will say it looks hokey, but with some of those that is actually how they happen. Like those Indy cars are so light other than the engines in the wheels that like when someone hits like a bump, it looks like they turn into a paper airplane. So it's like it looks ridiculous if you don't like know indie movie stuff, but like or like not indie movie stuff, indie racing stuff. But those cars for some reason, like the way they're built and how they're aerodynamic, like if you go off a jump the wrong way, they just like fucking take off.
yeah, but the one that they use like in the middle half of the film, like during that like big emotional scene, I was like, look, the crash was intense, but the CGI they used was just bad. Like,
But it goes back to the idea that every single thing David Harbour touches is gold. So
like, and he and it kind of just gets to the point like why his character most of the time is right because it's like you understand a lot of his points and plus he and plus he is the one that establishes that this is a really terrible idea, like
yeah,
to basically put a bunch of gamers in the hot seat like for cars that literally go 200 miles an hour.
yeah, 100%.
But it's like,
Good movie though.
but it was a risk that the real life person at Nissan was willing to take.
Yep.
So, and dude, David Harbour stole Gran Turismo. Like he stole
Yeah,
that movie.
he's great.
Like isn't he? But isn't he kind of great in anything he touches though?
Oh
Like David
yeah.
Harbour is like a household name at this point.
Even though the movie I'm about to say is terrible, he's still good in Hellboy.
Agreed. Like it's still a really bad movie, but it's like
Yeah.
he's at least he's at least good in it. Like he's got some good laughs.
That pissed me off a little bit though, just because the movie's not good. That movie's not good. But it kind of pissed me off that like that was when he was like clearly movie studios were testing him, being like, can we use this guy as a leading man? And then that movie was awful. And now he's kind of like hasn't been the lead in anything since.
Until we got Violent Night, and then
Right.
obviously when we got Gran Turismo. Like even though Gran Turismo, he's kind of co-lead,
Yeah, he's like kind of co-lead in that. Yeah.
but he's like the top billed one in regards to the casting is David Harbour. Like
Yeah.
because
And it's a big deal too because back in the day, Orlando Bloom was a huge movie star. So if you're over him, that's saying something.
it kind of has been a while since we had seen Orlando Bloom like in an actual
Long
movie.
time. Yeah, long time.
Probably not even since like freaking At World's End. It feels like.
I know. Was he in that? I don't even remember that. Was
Yeah,
he
he
in
was
that?
in At World's End.
Like for a long time or just a little bit?
Not sure exactly how long he was in At World's End. Like,
Yeah. Good movie though.
you knew what I was talking about, though, right? Pirates of the
Yeah.
Caribbean At World's End.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, you know what? No, I thought you were talking about the Simon Pegg movie, World's End.
No, it's.
I thought he had
I'm
like a
talking about Pirates of
cameo.
the Caribbean
Yes.
at World's End.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. It might actually be all the way back then that we saw him last. And he was great in those movies. Obviously, he's great in those movies, and he's great in Lord of the Rings. Those Pirates movies, I really think like they kind of go downhill as they kept going on, but those first two Pirates movies, I think, are like some of the most fun adventure movies that have ever been made.
Agreed. And I mean, I honestly do enjoy At World's End, but
Oh, I think all of them are enjoyable. They just get like kooky, you know.
well, the only one I don't like is On Stranger Tides. Like,
Is that the most recent one?
no, the most recent one is Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Right. And I actually enjoy that one.
That one was pretty good. Like, I actually
Yeah.
like that one.
That goes back to their really good like physical fact like in like big huge set pieces like but I really think if you are someone like me that for some reason thinks CGI quality has gone so downhill, you never need a better example to prove that point than Dead Man's Chest because oh my god, even still by today's standards, and this was 17 years ago or something.
Yeah,
Davy Jones and the Kraken still to this day have some of the best CGI used on them that I've ever seen in my entire life.
they look really good.
Still today, it looks incredible.
Like, how does that hold up? Like 17 years later, like how does that hold up?
I don't I don't know.
Like, it's just crazy to think how well that holds up.
Even the stuff in the Black Pearl, it doesn't look as good, but it still looks really good. Like whenever
Like a lot of the
they
skeleton
touch
monsters, like
yeah,
they
when they
still look
touch the
really
cursed,
good.
when they touch the cursed treasure, or go on the Black Pearl, and then they get shown in the moonlight as the skeleton guys. They look great still.
Exactly. I
Those
mean,
movies kick ass. Those movies kick ass. Like that's the only way about it.
yeah, exactly. But like when it came to like On Stranger Tides, I think that one was definitely the one that had the most use of CGI, and it was so distracting to me.
Yeah,
Like not only was it just the one that had the most overabundance of CGI, but also the film was honestly pretty boring. Like,
yeah.
because look, they had so much they could do with Blackbeard, and he is a terrible villain. Like,
Was that Ian McShane?
yeah, it was Ian McShane.
Yeah, and I usually love Ian McShane. Like they got to give him more stuff to do in that movie, but it just didn't end
I
up.
mean, he was in the John Wick franchise, which he's obviously great in. Like,
He's great in
and
that.
also in one of my favorite comedy films of all time, Hot Rod.
I was gonna say his most important role of his career, Hot Rod.
Yes.
I gotta look up. There's another movie I'm thinking of. Oh, not to be confused with who is he in who is he in Kung Fu Panda? I don't
kind of
remember who he
forget.
is. Yeah, he does a lot of voice work that I forget about. Like he's in Shrek the Third, he's in Coraline, he's in Hellboy as well.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's in a lot of good stuff. I like him a lot. Oh, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking of. The first movie I ever saw him in, which is hilarious because it's not ever going to be the movie he's remembered for, is Jason Statham's Death Race. He's like his mentor.
Death Race.
God, I forgot he was in that.
I didn't even know he was in that either.
Yeah, he's like the mentor of him in prison.
Oh my god. That's so crazy that you remember Ian McShane. Like the first movie you remember him from is Death Race.
His Death Race.
That's a
great guilty pleasure, by the way.
Yeah. Oh my god. Why that movie though?
Hey.
Oh my god, dude. It's crazy. Like, why am I still laughing it off that we were talking about Ian McShane and then all of a sudden we just go to Death Race?
I mean, I'm sure I'd have to think about it. I'm sure there are a bunch of other famous actors that somehow what I saw them in first was like not even close to the movie they're going to ever be remembered for. But
exactly, like
all movies, Death Race.
That's what I keep saying.
It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Like, I'm trying to think of a good one. I'm trying to think of a good one here. Because he actually, You actually want to know what my introduction to Matthew McConaughey was?
All right, hold on. Let me guess. I'm gonna pull up his movies. Is it one? Just tell me this. Is it the one where he's the main character or not at all?
He is a main character in it.
Let me look. Is it from a long time ago?
It was from the 2000s.
Okay. I'm gonna say Sahara.
No,
Damn, Fool's Gold.
no.
All right, what is it?
It's How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, okay.
That was
One
the
of
movie
his
that
one of his
introduced me to
better
Matthew.
known.
I mean, that's not really well known though. Like,
I think it is. I think it depends on who you ask. But I think if I ran upstairs right now and asked my fiance what are the most memorable McConaughey movies, I'm sure that would be one of the three that she said.
I don't know.
It would be like that, Dallas Buyers Club, Interstellar, and Wolf of Wall Street. Even though one of my personal favorite cameo roles of him ever is his role in Tropic Thunder, of just getting the
Oh my
TiVo.
God, I love him in
Just
Tropic Thunder.
always getting the TiVo for his client.
Oh my God.
Good movie.
Like, I know this one's pretty popular, but if you actually want to know what my introduction to Mark Wahlberg was,
Ted.
my introduction to Mark Wahlberg was actually Ted.
I'm surprised because that one's like not like crazy old, you know.
I know, but like that was the one that like really did introduce me to Mark Wahlberg was Ted.
Yeah, like since I'm a Boston guy, I'm like forced to like Mark Wahlberg, but there's a lot of movies of his that I do enjoy.
I love Mark Wahlberg.
I'm a massive Pain and Gain guy. I'm sure you've heard me say that before, but
I gotta get a pump.
That's one of my biggest guilty pleasure movies. I think that's so wild.
I mean, the bodybuilder aspect, I think, is like the best part of that movie. Like the murder aspect of it, I thought was where it really fell apart. Like,
I still enjoy the hell out of it. I don't even care. Like I know it falls apart.
It's still fun, but it's like the murder aspect was just, it was so tonally wrong. Like, because it's like,
oh yeah,
they treat it like a comedy.
That's Michael Bay for you, man. Like, but I still say, like, from a technical point of view, I think anyone that says like Michael Bay doesn't know what he's doing and can't make movies, like that is a complete like debunker of a film. Like I think I think he films it in a really interesting way, uses some great slow-mo. It's super stylish, but yeah, no, I enjoy the hell out of that.
I mean, with The Island, like he can make movies for sure that are not just, robots fighting.
That in Ambulance really strutted his stuff.
Ambulance is a lot of fun. Like, dumb as hell though, like really, really dumb. But it's
really,
like
really, really dumb. And he probably,
for the most part though, like before, like the explosions start to kick in, it's like it's kind of a more serious thriller. Like,
also, someone probably should have taken the drone away from him because there's a lot of drones.
People need to really take away the drones. Like,
but still, I think that it's filmed in an interesting way.
Because that movie can because Ambulance can cause motion sickness because a lot of the drone shots.
You're spiraling upside down through the streets of LA and stuff. It's crazy.
It's like, bro, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. Seriously.
Because it's like, whoa. like holy crap.
Yeah, it's out there. Like it would definitely give someone motion sickness if you get car sick, but
I mean, I know Cloverfield gave people motion sickness because of the found footage aspect.
Right, and that was like one of the first really mainstream found footage movies. So yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of Cloverfield when I saw that in theaters way back in the day.
That's an interesting movie. Like it's
And I'm a big fan of 10 Cloverfield Lane as well with John Goodman.
Love that movie. Like,
yeah.
John Goodman, I don't think he's ever been as menacing as he was in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Like,
so Another movie I'll say, and this also is a Mark Wahlberg movie, so maybe you've seen it, is it's not a great movie, but the scenes, the like 2 or 3 scenes that John Goodman in are incredible, and he's kind of menacing, but also really entertaining, is The Gambler. Did you ever see that?
I have seen The Gambler. Yep.
Yeah, his role in that is awesome when he has to loan Wahlberg the money and kind of gives him his rich guy rules to live by. Such a good scene. He's great. He's another guy that pretty much elevates everything that he's in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is so funny because he was on Roseanne. Like, he got his start and is memorable from Roseanne. So it's like everyone just thought he was like some one-dimensional, funny big dad.
Yeah, and you also want to talk about an underrated John Goodman movie where he's also portraying a villain. It's from the 90s.
What's that?
It's called The Borrowers.
Okay, wait a second. Hold on.
Oh.
I think I'm going to blow your mind right now. Okay, I need to make sure of this before I... So you said this is a good movie? You like this one?
Yeah.
You know what this guy also directed, right?
Yeah, I know.
All right, just making sure because I saw it. Because on the poster it says from the director of The Borrowers, and I'm like, I must have misread that.
I know, but at least The Borrowers was entertaining. Like,
yes. For anyone not looking at my screen, watching the stream, of course I'm talking about the epic that is Thunderpants.
Oh, God. Okay. I don't know. I don't even know why I brought that movie up.
With Patrick Smash.
Or basically, like, when Patrick walks like this, like he tries to do like the worst strut possible. And if you guys watch Pugapillar on YouTube, who does movie reactions, he did a movie reaction commentary and a review for Thunderpants.
I love it.
And he did a like this little really funny meme, like a little caption, like when Patrick starts walking like this to go to his bully. He said, "When Patrick wants to smash."
His name is Patrick Smash. Makes sense.
Could you imagine, like, he pulls out a Super Smash Brothers game and it's like, "Hey, Alan, want to smash?" So it'd basically be double pun because it's like you're playing Smash Brothers and your last name is literally Smash.
Yeah, it's a triple.
So there you go.
They knew what they were doing.
I mean, we already know they would be playing Super Smash Bros.
Oh yeah,
because it's like,
so like
because it's like, why would you say you want to smash? Like, unless if it was like unless if somebody's like an absolute weirdo.
Yeah. Hey, that's the life of Patrick Smash, man.
God damn it. Like, seriously. And yeah, so basically, like, so I was gonna say, like, Patrick and Alan met when they were kids, and then older Alan in Thunderpants is played by Rupert Grint.
Oh, okay.
So
now I've got the whole time.
That was the time, like, when they were trying to keep the Harry Potter kids busy. So
right. Yeah. Wait. Had he already been in a couple of them?
He was only in the first Harry Potter by the time the Thunderpants was released.
Thunderpants. All right.
Just by that title, you already know it's gonna be a terrible movie. Like,
or a fantastic movie.
I'd rather watch a movie called Thunderbirds.
Yeah, what is that again?
That's like a little there's basically about these guys that are basically run this rescue vehicle.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the movie Thunderbirds from Jonathan Frakes. That movie is like really badly regarded, but I really don't think it's that bad.
Which one?
Thunderbirds.
Yeah, no, I actually haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen Thunderbirds? Okay, but yeah, Jonathan Frakes, who played as Commander Riker in Star Trek: Next Generation.
Right, I know him. Movie. Oh, he directed it?
Yeah, he did direct it. I mean, he also directed I think he also did direct Star Trek First Contact and Star Trek Insurrection, if I remember right.
I've seen like very little Star Trek stuff, unfortunately, other than the J.J. Abrams movies, which I really enjoy.
But I mean, and I think he also made. Oh yeah, he also made one of my favorite childhood kind of guilty pleasures, Clock Stoppers.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah, that's a good movie. I haven't seen
But
that
a
in
really generic
forever.
concept though, like when it comes to when it comes to the other part of the concept, because the first part of it is basically this kid gets a watch that can stop time, and that's a really unique concept.
Yeah.
But the generic part of it is these really evil business guys want the watch.
Right, yeah. It's just like these random dudes. Just
So it's like,
classic random government guys.
yeah, evil government guys that want the watch
Yeah. It's pretty much.
because it stops time. Like,
I mean, I'd want it too. I can sympathize.
but what would you really want to use it for the reasons that they did?
Probably
Like, I
not.
mean, I would only use it so I could try to, have time stop for a little bit
Right.
because
I could pause and play video games for like 4 hours and then press play again, and I wouldn't have lost any time. Bada bing, bada boom.
exactly. Or hell, I could have even um I could pause time, actually take a car to actually like go out and get some stuff, and then boom, like I could be back in no time.
Actually, you saying that though reminds me that it would actually be a great idea to use it. If you used it because you had to go someplace in the car, like there'd be no traffic. Like you can just like skate around everybody. Like if everyone's
Exactly.
paused,
Even if
you
it
know?
was like a line of traffic, it's like you'd have no problem. Like
Yeah.
hell, even if it was like the time stopped, like you could just go through the traffic.
Oh
Like
yeah.
even if it was like
Just weave around it.
um not even that. Like I'm saying like when it comes to like the cars, like if you're in like in front of a car that's like on the line of the other side that you're driving on, it's like you could just go through it. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't even have a problem. Like you could just breeze right through it.
Yeah.
That's why it'd be kind of interesting to if we actually had a way to stop time.
I mean, sign me up, but I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, unfortunately.
Probably not till either one of our dying breaths. Like
Yeah. I keep talking
that
about
or
I'm like, I at least want like I'm just curious, like by the time I'm like about to be in the ground, I'm like, will a single person be like living on another planet yet? Or like trying to live on another planet, trying to like make a community or something. I have no idea. But
or maybe even make something that stops time.
or like,
Like
will I even see a flying car? You know?
right?
Like I want a flying car or like a Back to the Future 2 hoverboard, but like
We're gonna
all over
actually
the place.
or maybe actually see cars that are not James Bonds to actually go under like to actually drive underwater. Like,
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think James Bond unfortunately has that market on lock. I don't know if we're gonna see.
yeah, he already did that because I mean, didn't we do like the spy who loved me? Like he literally could drive his car underwater. Like,
There was that awesome one. I can't remember which it was. There was that awesome one in one of those Pierce Brosnan ones too. I'm a massive Pierce Brosnan guy.
oh, it was I think it was Die Another Day.
I can't remember.
Was it
I know
Die
what
Another
you're.
Day or was it the roll? Or was it Tomorrow
I
Never Dies?
I know what you're thinking of. Like Die Another Day when he's like driving around in the melting ice palace, and it's like just
Yeah.
water all around him. There's a different one where he has to take a boat. Like
Oh, it's
he's
the
in
world is not enough.
when he's in Q's lab, and like he has to take it.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
have to
that's I think that's the world is not enough.
yeah, I'll have to rewatch his Bond movies. I really love him as James Bond. I mean, Goldeneye is so good.
GoldenEye is so much fun. Like
I could rant and rave about that movie for so long. I really think it saved the James Bond franchise at a time when it really was not doing
I
well.
also love the game GoldenEye
Oh
for
yeah,
the Nintendo 64. I love
that
that game.
that and Nightfire, both bangers.
Nightfire is such a fun game. I actually have played that.
It's like I just remember back in the day, we would always play that multiplayer level. That was like that snow level where like you could take gondolas back and forth between the two structures. Everyone would do that, and some guy was always hiding in the gondola, and then you find the golden gun. Oh,
Oh man.
great game! You had the little tank like RC car that you could kill guys with.
I mean, dude, James Bond drove a tank in GoldenEye, so there you go.
Yeah.
And it's like, did you?
I think he drives one at the beginning of Die Another Day too.
Yeah, like what? Like what's with James Bond driving the tanks?
I don't know.
This isn't fucking battle tanks, people.
I know,
This-
seriously.
Like-
He loves his tanks.
yeah, he just loves his tanks, but he kind of just feels like he's envisioning himself playing battle tanks.
Seriously. Or like tower defense.
Yeah, but hold on 1 minute. I mean, I'm still gonna talk. Like you can still hear me, but you're just not gonna see me for a couple minutes.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's like, bro, like chill out with the tanks.
Yeah, no, he really digs those for some reason.
Maybe he's got the way of thinking that it's the best weapon for him. When it's like you have like the best guns.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you can just blow through a freaking building with it.
I mean, like, dude, like he shot down like a thing that was like holding like the ice in place and Die Another Day.
Yeah.
Like he shot it down with like at least 3 bullets.
Yeah.
Just to stab one of the villains in the dick. Like, because if you really think about where it pretty much went down to his private area, which is basically his dick. So
Yeah. Not a great way to go. Definitely not a great
plus it wasn't even like all the way out. Like the icicle thing, like basically the part for stabbing wasn't even all the way out until it was like coming close down on him.
Yeah.
And then it just went spink.
Yeah,
and
just
then
see you
boom,
later.
blood starts flowing.
Yeah.
Like-
And he's like underwater.
Exactly. But the way that Bond made his car turn invisible in that scene.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
but then it gets wrecked because that random snowmobiler crashes into it. And then he gets found out.
But the reason why he doesn't, though, in the first part of it, of him turning his car invisible, is because he backed up in time. Like,
Right. Yeah.
like he wasn't like in the way of the guy. Like, he had the traction on him, and he turned on invisibility. Like,
That movie's a lot. They do a lot.
It's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous as hell.
I used to love that scene as a kid, and it looks so dumb now. I hate to admit it, but I used to love that scene as a kid when like the Icarus satellite was burning the beam behind him, and his car went over the ledge, and then he like made it into a surfboard with the parachute, and he was like, do you remember this when he was like wakeboarding away from the beam of energy that was coming down on him?
Oh my fucking god!
It was insane, and it looks so bad now. And I was like, oh man, like
but
when I was
the
a
way
kid.
that he controls the car in Tomorrow Never Dies with his cell phone is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's also pretty fun too, like because that's actually
they're
one of my
fun.
favorite car chases in the series. Like,
It's definitely
because
fun.
like he doesn't even have to do anything; he's just controlling it with his cell phone. Like,
I mean, like none of those movies are boring. Like you can rip them apart that they don't make sense and that they're ridiculous, but you're never gonna be bored watching one of those.
I mean, even Quantum of Solace, which is admittedly not good, but it's like you're never bored with it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that one suffers because it was a strike movie too.
It was made during the writer's strike, and you can definitely tell.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to make any changes. They like completed that script super fast because they knew the strike was coming, and then it was like they had Daniel Craig working on the script, and he is not a writer, and he even admitted like, yeah, that didn't work, and it definitely shows that it was a strike movie.
But then after they fixed it with Skyfall, they were like, "Yep, we're back in business."
Skyfall was great, yeah.
I mean,
And I like
can't
No
we
Time
really
to
agree,
Die. I
though,
don't
that
think
Daniel Craig is. Can't we agree though that Daniel Craig is the best Bond? Like,
Yeah, so it's like my head says Daniel Craig, my heart will always say Pierce Brosnan. But yes, I think if I'm just looking at things objectively, then yes, I think Daniel Craig's awesome. I mean, you can't beat Casino Royale might be the best James Bond movie ever made. So
I mean, it is
yeah.
like,
It's just
and
like
I mean, and also here's an interesting question. I mean, I actually want to hear this from you, Sully, um, because like for the past couple of days, like on Sunday we watched on Jared's channel for the first Knives Out, and then we watched Glass Onion last night. Do you think you would cast anybody else to play Benoit Blanc besides Daniel Craig?
mm.
Like,
So all right, here's the question though. Like, is this like in a universe where like I know like is this like a universe where like neither of these movies have been made yet and I'm just thinking to myself, huh, who should play this detective? Or have I seen both these movies and I'm like, is there anyone else I'd rather have do it?
is there anyone else that you would rather have do it? Like,
I don't know. I think there's some people that could do it. I don't know if I'd rather have them do it. I heard so one thing I did a post on Instagram like right after Glass Onion came out about actors that I wanted in the next Knives Out movie. And someone in the comments said that he wants it basically to be like they want to cast Robert Downey Jr. as like a villain or like rival detective to go up against Benoit Blanc in the third movie as like a cat and mouse thing because we've never get to see Benoit Blanc really like tested on someone with his level of expertise. And I actually think that'd be a pretty fun idea. And obviously you cast RDJ because it's funny that he was Sherlock Holmes, but
right,
I think it'd be pretty interesting. Like I agree that they kind of need a rival for Benoit Blanc because you know he's going to figure out everything out the whole time every movie. So it'd be kind of cool to have someone that's challenging him.
exactly. But if I'm thinking of someone to rival him, Robert Downey Jr. isn't really the one I would go to. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, I would want to more see him do like more of the Oscar-worthy stuff, like like Oppenheimer. Like,
Yeah.
but
I he was awesome in that movie.
I would even say his best performance of his whole career. Like,
Yeah, I always say for the longest time I've said that his best performance in his career was in Zodiac, but now with Oppenheimer out, I think it's definitely made that claim harder to make.
I was thinking of someone that could actually be the rivaling detective in if they were going to go that route. I was thinking either someone like David Harbour or Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, I love Odenkirk. I'd rather have Harbor as someone involved, like a suspect. But I
Like a
think
suspect, but you would think that Bob Odenkirk would actually fit
Odenkirk
that
would be a
detective
great
role.
rival detective because he can kind of be a pain in the ass sometimes too. And he's like a know-it-all. So I like we saw that with Saul. So I think that'd be a good casting.
Yeah, so much like I'm trying to think of like a really good ensemble cast like that I would prepare for the next for the next Knives Out. Like
I
so,
mean, I
like I said,
saw he's writing it. Ryan Johnson's in the process of writing it. So
but yeah, this is kind of like fan casting here, which I never really do. But
yeah. I kind of stopped after we were teased into trying to figure out who was going to be the Fantastic Four, and we still don't know.
yeah,
Like for months, everyone's been throwing out fan casts and stuff, but
I'm trying to think of a good one that we could. Oh, here's a good one we should get for the next Knives Out. Freaking Pedro Pascal.
oh yeah, that actually be a really good one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Pedro
like that.
Pascal. What else do we? Trying to think of some like really interesting. Like I'm trying to get like interesting. I want to get like a really good like ensemble cast to do this.
Um, Hold on, I'll read you what I had. And this is just like this is obviously what I'm going to say is this cast is too big for one of these movies, but what I had was in no order. My list was Christoph Waltz, Anya Taylor-Joy, Oscar Isaac, Emma Stone, Tobey Maguire, Francis McDormand, Zach Galifianakis, Jonathan Majors, Octavia Spencer, Samuel L. Jackson, Emily Blunt, and Willem Dafoe. Those were my 12.
That's interesting choices, might I say.
Yeah.
So yeah, so far I got Bob Odenkirk, David Harbour, um, lost it. That tells you how much my brain is fried, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm
Oh,
definitely
Pedro
fried.
Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. Yes, Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
Give me Andrew Garfield in one of them.
Andrew Garfield. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That'd be fun.
I'm kind of also trying to think of like some more younger people, like in regards to the acting, like to actors to kind of. I was thinking someone like Stephanie Hsu would actually be kind of a good fit for this role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's good.
You know what? If you want to just have a reunite with one of her castmates from Joyride, bring in Ashley Park.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she's
again,
good. All I know her from though is my fiance likes Emily in Paris, so that's what I know her from.
I think I just thought of another one that would actually be kind of fun for a murder mystery. Channing Tatum.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. He'd probably play the role that he's known for, but it would be fun seeing him in that.
I mean, yeah, because it's like you never really see Channing Tatum in murder mysteries. Like,
no, I mean the closest we've gotten is like his weird cameo in Bullet Train.
Yeah. But I think I got like 2 more people I would say to hire for this next Knives Out. Like, I mean, I know it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But this is just another fan cast. Woody Harrelson.
Good one. Yeah.
That'd be a good one. And you know what? I know we've already seen him in another movie this year, but it's like, come on, we need him in here. Fucking Matthew Broderick. Like,
oh yeah.
Where's that guy been?
Like, in what's it called?
No Hard Feelings.
Yeah, No Hard Feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the father of Andrew Barth Feldman.
Which was like the first thing I've seen him in a long time.
And when I saw him in that movie, I was like, dude, where have you been?
Yeah. Seriously.
So it's like, yeah, that's actually, you know what? I got one more. I know I said I only had like 2 more, but I got one more for you.
Hit me.
Fucking Josh Hutcherson, dude.
Yeah, give me Josh Hutcherson. I think he'd be a good suspect. Or like a good assistant to the detective, you know?
Like he'd be kind of. I would more like hire Josh Hutcherson to be Benoit Blanc's assistant. Like,
yeah, his little assistant he has running around.
Basically, he'd be like Keith Stanfield's character from the first Knives Out.
Right. Yeah.
Like that would actually kind of what I would try to go for. So, but we'll see. Maybe Ryan Johnson might give us a really big banger ensemble cast.
I mean, he said this is going to be his last one, so I'm assuming he's going to go all out.
Yeah, so give us Bob Odenkirk and we're all in. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I want Odenkirk as a rival.
Yeah, give me Odenkirk. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up here for tonight. This was a really fun episode. It was great to have Sully back on the channel. And obviously this will not be the last time he'll be here, but this should be a lot of fun. So, Sully, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to everybody that was in the chat here tonight. You guys are awesome. So, Sully, go ahead and plug your social medias, man. Where can they find you?
Yeah, no, I'll make it easy. I'm literally at Sully Streams pretty much everywhere. I think YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I think that's really it. But yeah, doing movie reviews, doing movie rankings, spoiler talks, tier lists, all that good stuff. So yeah, pretty much any social media you use at Sully Streams, it's not hard to find me. I make it pretty easy.
There you go. Perfect way to do it, man. So,
yeah, seriously. Got to keep it consistent.
Very consistent there. There you go. And then So let's see. As far as what I have coming up, I got watch along for Color Out of Space tomorrow. So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Good movie.
Wild though. It's gonna be wild, but it'll be a lot of fun. Um, and then on my buddy Grant's channel, on his second channel, I should say, More Popcorn with Grant. We're gonna be doing a bad movie night watch along of Knights of the Zodiac. So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
I've heard a lot. I haven't seen it, but
it's
I've heard
something.
it's pretty bad. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty bad.
It's something, but yeah. So that's got a lot of that stuff coming up, and on Monday, next Monday, the 20th, watch along for Cecil. I have to do the infamous trademark, so
yeah, of course. Good movie too.
yeah. And last second, Eric is popping in saying Knights of the Zodiac is a chat. Oh, Eric. But yeah, guys, that'll wrap it up here for tonight. Thank you, everybody that came to the chat. Thank you again, Sully, for being here. We will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.